Hi everybody, welcome to Rahdo Runs Through, where I, Rahdo. Oh, my goodness, I am out of practice. I messed that up. Oh,
Oh, welcome, friends, to the R&R Show. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I am freezing at the moment. I imagine I'll probably start warming up in a little bit, or it'll get even colder in here and I'll have to hoodie it up for the whole show.
Nice. While you are freezing, I'm sitting here in incredible pain. I'm taking one for the team right now. Folks, right before we went on air here, I was letting Rahdo know that my back is just one of those funny things. As you get a little old, up there in age, sometimes your body does funny things, and my back is just, I don't know if I twisted it while I was sleeping or whatever, but it is painful right now. But you know what? It's not that bad. I'm going to get through this, and we're going to have some fun talking about games today, including our top 10 games that you can gift.
Yes.
So, folks, we are in it to win it, as they say. Do people still say that? I don't
You
even
just
know if
said
that's
it.
a
Your
saying anymore.
people.
Okay, cool.
I think people of our age probably don't. Are we really in it to win it anymore? I mean, hasn't our chance to win it passed long ago, and we have to step aside for the new winners who are trying to win it? Yeah. Kabuki Kid says I need to turn up my thermostat. Kabuki Kid, I am the cheapest man you will ever meet. Why burn all that money when I can just put on a hoodie? Come on. That's just the way it works at Shea Ham.
That's funny. That's pretty much how we do it here as well. Unless it gets really, really cold, we'll put on the heater. But for the most part, hey, throw on an extra blanket or throw on a hoodie or whatever. You know?
Yep. I think Head of Metal nailed it. We're not in it to win it. We are in it for the naps. At this point.
Nice, yeah. Oh, naps are the best thing, and I've always enjoyed naps. Even when I was a young man, naps are just great. I try to take a power nap on a regular basis. I love those 20-minute power naps in the middle of the day. Not, anything longer than that, I get drowsy. But like 15 to 20 minutes, like I'm good to go for the rest of the day. It's because I don't drink coffee anymore, so that's
Mm.
my way of perking up.
Naps have always been a no-no for me. If I take a nap during the day, it will completely destroy my ability to sleep at night. And I actually sleep really solidly. My head hits the pillow, I'm gone for like a solid chunk of time. But if I nap, it's all out the window. So I try not to very much. Oh, hey,
Okay.
Tim Riel of the I don't know if it's award-winning, but what the heck? We'll say award-winning Twitch game show, Codenames
Yes.
Live. Everybody say hi to Tim, first-time chatter. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Hi, Tim. I just chatted with Tim. We had a little conversation on Facebook Messenger earlier today. It was really nice to talk to him. And
let me guess.
We may or may not have things
yes,
planned.
it was a conversation
I'll just leave
wherein
it there.
he just put you a full court press to say, you've got to appear on Codenames Live this following Monday. Yeah. Tim lives for that, and I respect him for
That's
it.
great.
He is a consummate, always on. He's in it to win it, for sure.
Definitely. And you and Shay were great on Codenames Live. Was it last? Or no, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
wasn't
2
it?
weeks
That was
ago.
fun.
And I will say, Shay was great. I was present. The only thing I brought to the table was the mustache, which I'm very sorry for anybody who's disappointed the mustache didn't make it. I mean, my God, how do people have mustache? How do you do it? It's just there.
You just get used to it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's I'm not gonna lie, it does get a little itchy sometimes, but you know what? Yeah. Maybe I'll go for the mustache in your honor. Maybe I'll shave some of this off.
Now,
we'll see.
has anybody seen that
in the
chin?
new year?
How long has it been since that chin has seen the light of day?
It's been a while, my friend. So, okay, here's when I've shaved. I always shave like full on, like the beard, mustache, everything goes whenever I travel internationally. So the last time I was to the Philippines was in 2019 or 2018. So it's been 3 years since this has seen the light of the day.
Now, that's why specifically? Do you have family back there that are uncomfortable with facial hair or something?
No. So here's 2 reasons. Number one, the Philippines is freaking hot, man. It is so hot. But here's the second reason. I'll be honest. TSA. I don't want to deal with them. Try to jump on an international flight with my skin tone and a bunch of hair on your face. You're definitely gonna get pulled over.
Wow.
Yep. So that's one of the reasons. But mainly because it's hot.
A fun, silly reason, and really kind of a downer, reminding us of the world we live in reason. Right? So you've run the gamut there. Yeah. Well done, sir. You've entertained and you've informed. Nicely done.
Exactly. That's what we live for here on the R&R Show.
Yep. Well, folks, we are here to do all kinds of things. We'll be talking about games shortly when we actually start the proper R&R Show. We are in the R&R pre-show right now, where we just wait for people to show up because that's the way Twitch works. Speaking of which, Twitch aficionados in the audience. We were just talking about this. We couldn't come up with a conclusion. We figured we'd ask y'all. So all Twitch shows have their like coming soon 5-minute, 10-minute reel. I try to make it fun by actually showing games, played at super speed. But the other weird thing that we're doing that's different than most people is that we are starting it 5 minutes before our appointed launch time. So we go live at noon, and we actually start the thing at 12:55. Although I kind of messed it up this week because I just totally forgot to push all the buttons. I think I reverted back to the earlier days when Ruel pushed all the buttons. When's the show going to start? Oh, right, I have to start the show. So is that weird? Would it be better to go the other way and say, no, you know what? Nothing is on the channel at 11:55. At noon, the countdown begins. I really have no idea which way to go. I'm curious if anybody in the audience has anything to say. And in the meantime, thank you, Headbanging Maniac, for following, and Sprite Knight DX. And the Charity Board Gamer, all these a couple of hours ago. Thanks, everybody, for following. That's very nice as well.
Yes.
12:55 isn't 5 to noon. Well, I meant to say 11:55, Goblin. Smarty pants.
Goblin, keeping you honest over here. Yeah, friends, so let us know what you think. Do we start the starting soon sign at 11:55, or do we start it exactly at noon? Let us know. I know from my experience here on Twitch, like I've seen streamers do it both ways, where they'll just have a starting stream right at their scheduled time, and they don't even have a countdown.
Really?
They just, whenever they go live, it'll say starting soon, it'll have some music, and then all of a sudden, like 5 to 10 minutes in, there they are. But then other people I know, they do what we do, where we start at 5 minutes or 10 minutes beforehand, and then we actually come up live like
Yeah.
this right at the
Yeah.
scheduled time.
Okay.
Wow, lots of new followers. Thank you,
Yes.
friends. And don't forget, if you have an Amazon Prime account, folks, you get one free subscription per month, and you can use that here, or just by clicking the subscribe button.
Look at you go, Ruel, actually being the professional in the room. Folks, actually, if you look up at the top of the screen, you'll see we've got all kinds of goals. I'm hoping by the end of the year that we'll hit 1,000 followers. I think that's achievable. Fingers crossed.
I do
and
too.
Thank you to Foglight and E Lackey and Headbanging Maniac for helping us do that. And if we get to that 1,000, we will. I don't know if you will, or if it'll just be me in the audience, but we'll do a very special top 10, unlike anybody else in the industry has ever done before. But we also want those subs. And if you are an Amazon Prime member and you do not realize it, you can subscribe for free to the channel, giving us a little bit of monetary support. And it's good for you too, because you will not see ads for a solid month, the month that you're subscribed. And and that's pretty much it. Most channels, you just do it to avoid the ads or to support the show. We give you a little something more. I don't know if anybody's actually scrolled down. If you're watching in a browser, if you look at the panels down below, there's the coming soon panel. Oh, which I have to fix because we're going live again tomorrow. That coming soon is probably lying. I might have to fix that in a second. But one of them is a subscriber panel where if you subscribe to the show, which again is free if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get special extra stuff. Two things I'm doing right now. One, letting you see some of the old rambles, which are Patreon exclusive videos. And there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. The one that's up right now is a super duper deep dive into 2020, where I talked about hundreds of games. Games we got rid of, games we kept. I think it went for like 2 hours. So if you subscribe and help us get closer to unlocking another RVR episode, you can watch that. And also, it seems like most people really like the new way we're doing secret words, where people have to find the secret word. There have been a few people who say, oh, it's really high pressure. I'm afraid I'm going to miss it. I can't really just relax and listen. Well, you know what? If you subscribe, we just tell you. It's right down there. Yep. We will tell you when the secret word happens, so you can just chillax. And you can feel a little better knowing that you're supporting the show as well. And if you're an Amazon member, it's free. Thank you, Night2E4, subscribed with Prime this very minute, and we are one step closer to unlocking RVR number 2. Woohoo! It worked.
Thank you, Night2E4. Also, that was fantastic. And I just want to shout out all the people in chat. James Brazil, Kabuki Kid, Thinker Themer is in the house.
Good morning.
You, Thinker Themer.
I believe it must be Amy, because I believe Amy is the early riser, not Maggie.
Right. So thank you, friends, for joining us. Really appreciate it. And just going on over chat as well, it seems like people are sort of like, as far as starting the show right at noon, they're okay with that, but they're also okay with just starting at 11:55. I don't think there's any real preference.
All right, it's time for a
from
poll.
The audience right now.
We're polling it.
Let's rock
All
that
right,
poll.
New poll. Should we start countdown? When should R&R countdown start? 11:55, high noon. All right, and I've been told 1 minute is not enough, so I'm going to make it 3 minutes long.
Okay.
Nice.
Much appreciated, Tim. Appreciate the support, my friend. We are now at 70 out of 100. Wow, it's getting close.
Cool. Oh, seriously? Oh, wow.
Thinker,
okay, we might jump a bit sooner. My assumption was by the end of the year, we'll hit 1,000 subscribers. Sometime in December, we will, hit the 150. So that in December, we'll do another RVR. If trends continue. The third one, where people can just, donate bits or tips, if you just go to tips.rahdo.com and donate cash directly, that's gonna, that's a long-term one. Maybe in a few months that'll happen, at which point that particular month I will do a full extra run through, stream live on Twitch so people can see all, the in-betweens and all of that kind of stuff too. So that's long-term. We've got short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. That seems reasonable. Yes, Tim, that is a good point. Tim brings up that the subs are monthly. So, and how would that work? Well, here's the interesting thing. That poll does not. You can see the Unlock the RVR episode at 149 sub points, because if you subscribe at a higher level, you create more points. That doesn't reset. when the end of the month's reset. So that's just going to be a cumulative. As soon as this many people do it, we will hit it. As soon as that many people hit, and then once we do, I assume we'll restart. And I don't know, maybe we'll take a month off. I hadn't really thought about this at all because it's all very, very confusing. Yeah. This whole Twitch thing, I'm still learning.
Hey, I've been on Twitch for a year and a half. I'm still learning. So you have grasped it much faster than I have. So I'm learning from you, man. So whatever you figure out, share the knowledge.
Yep. Oh, Tim Reel, also thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. Okay, ever closer to the big goals. And let's see, we have I would say 3 minutes is too long. I guess I should set these for 2 minutes because. This ship has sailed. High Noon is not making a comeback at this point. It doesn't look like.
It's 11:55 is locked in. Yeah, that's 79% of the vote so far. Also, folks, if one of the things that we unlocked, it's going to be happening tomorrow. Actually, you all unlocked it. The R&R Show. So we usually do R&R. Now we're doing RVR. So we're going to play a game tomorrow. Have we announced the game already?
We did in passing, but go ahead and do it again.
Yeah, so tomorrow we are going to be playing at high noon here tomorrow, Rolling Realms from Stonemaier Games. It's a fantastic roll and write game that Jamie Stegmaier came up with during the pandemic, actually, last year. And he basically developed it in real time last year throughout, on his Facebook Live channel, his YouTube channel. I played like an early version. I think he went through like 10 iterations. He was just putting it out on print and play. And he was just doing it to, have give a game for people to play during the pandemic. And it got such a great response that they actually produced the game, a physical version. And when you see the physical version, folks, like I just got my copy in 2 weeks ago. Those dice are some of the chunkiest dice you will ever see in a board game. They are fantastic.
Oh, they are ridiculous, quite frankly, those dice.
They're totally, I would say they're redonkulous.
Yes, I wouldn't say
do the kids still say that?
That's the difference between you and me.
Yeah, okay.
So tomorrow at noon we'll be playing, and if anybody out there owns a copy of Rolling Realms, they can play along as well. Is the print and play still available? Can people print out their own versions of the cards?
I believe that, I haven't compared the final product. I have not compared that to the latest version because I think the one I played might have been like version 10, and I don't know if they went up to like version 12 or something like that. But folks, you can check and honestly, you can still play with the older versions because you're still just going off the dice rolls, right?
Yeah, well, okay. We'll look into that when we'll announce tomorrow because everybody should be able to play along with us who can show up tomorrow. And you'll be able to play after the fact, too, because it's a bingo-style game. Now, I've noticed Goblin 981 would like to point out that we are balanced volume-wise, but he thinks it's a little low. I can crank it up. I have it pretty much cranked as far as it'll go without me crushing my microphone. I'll bring it up, I don't know, I'll bring it up a couple of dBs. But I don't want to go up too high because I'm so loud. I mean, it can get really crunchy. But let me just go on ahead and bring up a couple dBs as well.
Yeah. Meeple Maven says sounds good there. So Meeple Maven said it's okay. Kabuki says redonkulous, Ruel keeping it hip for the kids. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's very hip. I'm sure all the kids are saying redonkulous on a regular basis.
I seriously doubt it. Kabuki kids happy with that. Okay,
yeah, it might be you, Gob. Again, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But seeing as how you're one of the only people who know how to use your channel points, I'm listening. I'm gonna get better at spotting when people use their channel points to do highlights and stuff like that. We're still learning.
And speaking of channel points, we actually there was something that was unlocked last week, right?
I didn't even mean to throw to that, but look at that. You just did that. Perfect. Okay. By the way, folks, if you look down at the bottom, you can see there's that little cursive R for Rahdo. The longer you watch, the more points you get. You can click on that to spend those points to make us do things. And whoa!
What happened?
Nazgoth just gave us there can only be one.
Oh,
Nazgoth. Does it appear in the chat? Does anybody see it? Because I'd just like to pretend this one didn't happen. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
Oh, there's another one.
Okay. Nazgoth, and this one's totally for me. Fable 2 versus Brink. Wow. Those are my babies. Nazgoth. Jeez Louise.
Wow.
How do you make me choose between my babies? I've joked before it was a Sophie's Choice. That's a real one. Now, what does that mean? I guess Does it mean that I strike one from existence? I strike one, the existence of actually creating? Because for folks who don't know, I was a video game designer for 20 years. Two of my biggest games were Fable 2 and Brink. If he'd put Siphon Filter, I'd always have to pick Siphon Filter if we're saying, oh, if it strikes from existence, because Siphon Filter put me on the map.
I say,
yeah. How do we
have to
define
choose one.
what? How am I deciding which one disappears?
Yeah, the one that disappears is no longer in
Okay,
existence.
it's not which is my favorite, which is the one do I think is the better
Yeah.
game. It's which one.
It's just which one would you strike?
Yes, yeah. Which one gets the baby Hitler treatment? Wow. Man, that's so much. I mean, that's like over half a decade of my life just disappearing in the blink of an eye because of Nazgoth.
Wow.
Of the two, there is
Which
no.
game did you work
What's
longer
that?
on? Which game did you work longer
Fable.
on?
Fable 2 was a bit over 3 years. Brink was a bit over 2 years. Fable 2, there's no two ways about it. It was much more stressful. Yeah, I mean, that was the first time in my career where I actually started getting high blood pressure and stuff like that.
Oh,
because
no.
I love Peter Molyneux as a person. I think he's a great, generous, wonderful person. As a coworker, as a boss, oh my gosh, he could be. It was very challenging. My complaint was I had all the responsibility and none of the control. Is the situation I found myself in on Fable 2. So whereas Brink was a joy. There were some problems, mostly working with our publisher, who was actively trying to run us out of business, so by not paying us on a timely basis, so they could buy us up for cheap, which they had done with other publishers. And so we were just barely scraping by, trying to survive, getting that game done. But those weren't really my day-to-day responsibilities. And at the end of the day, I think I'm more proud of Brink. Actually, who was it? Man vs. Meeple. Ryan of Man vs. Meeple came up to me when I was at Board Game Geek last week. He was in college when Brink came out, and he just wanted to say thank you because it gave him so many hours, of joy, and how he appreciated that it was a game ahead of its time. If it had come out post Overwatch, it probably would have blown up, but it came out at a time it was too advanced. It was doing things that nobody understood what it was. I am certainly prouder.
That's cool.
I mean, Brink is more of a personal reflection of me as a designer. Whereas, Fable, a lot of me is in that game too, but, there's a lot of compromises. That was a much bigger project. I'm proud of the end result. Although, I mean, I can look at both those games and all I see is the flaws, all the things that if I could get back in time and I would go back and fix. Nazgoth is apologizing too late. I think I would, and then of course there's the relationships. I built really strong relationships on both teams. That's unfair. I have to remove that out. That would be unfair because, who do I like more, Ed or Dean? I can't do that. I mean, that's impossible. So I'm going to put that aside. I
feel like you're going to go with Fable just because Brink seems like it's a little more.
There's an easy way to go.
It caused high blood pressure.
I made more money working for because I was a creative director on Fable when Lionhead got bought by Microsoft, which meant I saw a little something something. Actually, everybody saw a little something. I saw. So if it's just in terms of if General Hero Chief said Fable, we want that Fable money. We didn't get much money on Brink. Yeah. So I guess I'll stick with Fable too. But honestly, wow, that's crass commercialism coming out. That's in a true representation of my heart, it would be Brink. Wow, that's mean.
But you got to pay the bills. Wow, wow. That Nazgoth, see what you did?
Yep. Well, he got good use out of those channel points, and we're not done because Dr. Diminisher also requested one. Tekenu versus Pharaoh. Now, do you know both of these?
I have not played.
You have not played either, so it's all me all the time. Throw some stuff at Gruel, folks. You can go to gaviolalibrary.com.
Yeah, I'm familiar with both, but I have not played either.
My gut is actually Pharaoh, which I think would be shocking to most people.
Really?
Tekenu is great, but and thank you, Goblin981. Loved Brink. Wish people played it. Me too. I mean, of all the games I ever worked, Brink is the one I would like to sit down and play right this second. I'm so proud of it. Tekenu is great, but I had a couple of issues with the 2-player. Pharaoh was just about perfect. And while I think Tekenu is probably the more impressive game, it's the more ambitious one. It does more things. It's cooler with its, its obelisk and stuff like that. I think overall, the whole picture, I'd go with Pharaoh.
Interesting. I would have pegged you as a
Yeah, yeah.
Takenu guy.
Oh,
So
I don't mean
yeah,
to downplay the Takenu. Takenu is great.
right.
But yeah, I mean Takenu to be at its ideal, you have to bring in the bot for the solo bot into 2-player to kind of make up for some shortcomings.
Got it.
Pharaoh didn't need anything like that. Pharaoh was just worked. Okay, so
Cool.
I've done.
Right.
I'd like to. I've done. There can be only one. Mark is complete. There can
Yep.
be only one. Takenu versus Pharaoh. Oh no! Cabal X just threw one in under the wire. I think that the audience is only allowed 3. Zolkin
3 per show.
versus Teotihuacan.
Yeah. Now, don't forget, we still have
I know
to
we
do
still have the
other
one we
from
were
last
starting
week.
to talk about.
Right.
Zolkin versus Teotihuacan. I know you played Zolkin, but
Yeah.
have you played Teo?
Zolkin, Teotihuacan. Oh my gosh.
Have you played both?
Then
this is
I've
you.
played
This is all you.
Teotihuacan. Yeah, the Teotihuacan I've played the most recently. I've played most recently. So that, oh my gosh. Again, really 2 brilliant games. They both make my head hurt. So you have that. So either one I choose, it's definitely making my head hurt, but in a good way, right?
Yeah.
In that gamery, brain burning, I enjoy that. Oh man, you got the cool like dials there.
Yeah, all
for
the gears.
Sulkin. Then you have the awesome pyramid. Those,
No.
I call them, like,
Just,
little
oh yeah,
Mahjong
building the
tiles.
pyramid, right? Yes, which is very nice, very satisfying. Yeah.
It's really cool. I think because I played it most recently, and I really enjoy the experience. Teotihuacan.
Gasp.
That's my choice. Yeah, that's the one.
Gasp. That's a no-brainer. That's totally a Zolkin.
Wow.
In this
Wow.
household, there's no 2 ways about it. Teotihuacan, but only because it's fresher in your mind. You're saying?
I believe so. Zolkin's been so long since I played it, and I need to remedy that, honestly, because I remember it was a fantastic.
It is amazing,
game,
yeah.
But yeah, wow.
Okay, but now
Okay,
we're
so
going back to
that's-
what we are because last week Zeta Rec in the closing minutes of the show requested an argument. It's actually my favorite one, Monty Python style. I'd like to buy an argument, and Zeta Rec did, and we didn't have time to do it. So we could argue about anything, and we tend to agree. We could argue about Teotihuacan versus Zolkin, quite frankly. But I think they're both
Actually,
a bit. I think I've got a solider base on that, so that wouldn't be fair necessarily.
Yeah,
because they're both fresh in my mind.
I just want to point out that we have a new subscriber with Prime. Duck of Death
Duck of Death the Fifth. I'm going to assume is what that V
The
is
Fifth.
for.
I like that name because it reminds it's a throwback to the Clint Eastwood movie Unforgiven.
Is it?
Do you remember that?
I
one?
remember the movie Unforgiven.
There was the guy, the character played by I think Richard Harris, and he was an assassin, and Gene Hackman's character beats him down, and he had a biographer with him writing a book about the Duke of Death, but Gene Hackman kept calling him
Oh my god!
Duck
And
of
Duck
Death.
of Death confirms you are correct. That is the reference.
Nice.
Wow! Impressive.
Thank you. I have some knowledge of random
Jeez,
things, apparently.
Louise. All of a sudden, I can't even remember the most iconic line from the movie. You know, the old tired man. What is the most common line quoted from Unforgiven?
From the Unforgiven?
Oh, no, that's driving me nuts. The audience will know.
Yeah, audience would know. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I just remember Clint Eastwood was like that old weathered, gunslinger. He'd gone back to.
It's
there it is.
Duck of
It's a hell
Death
of a
knows it. Of
thing,
course he does.
killing a man.
It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Killing a man.
Oh, Kabuki Kid, yes, deserves
Got nothing to do with it. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then as Gene Hackman's character's lying there dying, "I'll see you in hell, William Money," and he just points at.
Oh
yep.
man, now I need to
Bang.
watch the movie.
Oh, so
All I could think of
that-
actually was Kurt Russell from Tombstone. You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. That's all I could think of.
wrong Western, man.
All right. So, thus ends the Western quote portion of the show.
Yes.
All right. So we still have to do an argument. And what we talked about before was, and in honor of the fact that at midnight tonight, West Coast time, the new Hawkeye MCU show is going to start on Disney Plus, and I will be there at midnight watching with a gallon of ice, or a tub of ice cream, a pint of ice cream, and I can't wait. It recently occurred to me when I just happened to offhand mention that, of course, Hawkeye is the best Avenger from the MCU. And Real said, well, I guess we've got something to argue about. So I put it to
Do it.
you, sir. Oh, and you know what? Hold on a second. I even set this up because I knew. I mean, I didn't know all this other stuff was coming. You tell them I'm coming, and the audience is coming with me. I didn't know that, but folks, it's time for an R&R-gument. You like that?
There it
You
is.
like that?
I love that. Wow, that's brilliant. The R&R-gument.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
I think the audience is against
Okay.
me, so I will lead. Of course, Hawkeye is the best Avenger in the MCU. This is totally putting comic books aside, because he's the most human. I mean, obviously, he is, our, avatar for us being in this world. But beyond that, I would say he's the bravest, because as he himself says, I'm just a guy with a bow. None of this makes any sense. But I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do my job. That line where he is trying to, basically get Wanda to step up is, I think, one of the defining moments of the entire MCU. I'm getting goosebumps just only even quoting half of it. And obviously, all my brain for quoting movies is gobbled up by the MCU, so I can't remember any classic Westerns anymore. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Knights around the table.
Hey,
just rate us with a party of
Ryan,
12.
hello.
Hello, everybody. Hi there. You just stepped
Welcome.
into an R&R-gument, is what we're in the middle of.
Yeah, we're talking about Hawkeye, yay or nay.
Well, no. You have to give up something else, because I propose Hawkeye is the best character in the MCU. Don't worry, we will talk about games soon. We will actually do the R&R show. This is the pre-show, and somebody paid for an
we're getting there,
R&R-gument.
folks.
So, thanks for the follow, BDM. And and everybody else. Oh, we thanked Duck of Death. Yes, all right. That's what prompted all this movie stuff. So,
Yes.
who would you say is the best Avenger then?
Oh, Spider-Man, of course. Spider-Man is the greatest superhero of all Marvel. Comics, movies, you name it. He is my absolute favorite. Peter Parker and or Miles Morales, you cannot top that, because I mean, it's very nostalgic for me. It's sentimental. As we all know, when Peter Parker's in high school and he's being picked on and he's, coming to terms with being a teenager, and he's a dork and he loves, what's her name? Mary Jane, but he doesn't know how to express himself, but he can express himself through the wonders of his superpowers. And that's what superheroes are all about. Superpowers. Hawkeye's got a bow. Yay.
Actually, first of all, for the record, I mean, I know we're putting the comic books aside, but comic book Peter Parker in high school was a total dick. He was an asshole who was bullied, but wanted to be the bully. And everybody forgets that. Everybody thinks, oh, it's Tobey Maguire, cute, lovely, cuddly Peter Parker. That's not the real Peter Parker. If anything, Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker was closest to the real Peter Parker.
But then that led to the lesson that he learned from his
no.
Uncle
He
Ben.
kept up with that afterwards.
Yes,
he did.
Really?
If you go back and watch the original Ditko Lee run, the first 50 episodes, you can't watch them. If you go back and read them, it's a common through line.
Wow, you're going back to
He
Ditko
was,
Lee. Okay, nice.
his dickishness and selfishness led to Uncle Ben's death. And it was something he struggled with and tried to be better, but he was petty. He was petty as all get out. And it wasn't really until he went to college that he started to truly grow up. I mean, that's one of the reasons that makes Peter Parker and Spider-Man the greatest superhero of all time, because they were actually doing stuff like that, which nobody else was doing at the time. I am just going to completely, knock it off as irrelevant, because Spider-Man's not an Avenger at best, because he literally turned down a seat in the Avengers. In his own films when it was offered, and then I'm probably gonna stay away from spoilers. He was basically given an honorary. Oh, you happen to be in the room. I guess everybody in the room right now is an Avenger. Regular, random mage from the Sanctum Sanctorum number 17 is an Avenger. Spider-Man is as much an Avenger as they are, quite frankly.
Yeah, but that's what made it so awesome in the MCU. They created a position for him. He didn't have to go through an interview process. He didn't have to provide references. They just said, you're so awesome. You're part of the Avengers now, man.
If I had been in the room, I would be an Avenger at this point. Howard the Duck is an Avenger. The thing is, when I said Avengers, I was obviously talking about the big five. Hawkeye, Black Widow, Captain America, Thor, and Hulk. I see, So...
Hulk, Iron Man, yeah. I mean, I would have to go with Iron Man. That's out of the OG.
See, and that's what I would
Avengers,
assume most people would go with. And I got to give it to Tony Stark. I mean, if it had not been for Robert Downey Jr., none of this would have existed if he hadn't knocked it out of the park so much. I mean, if Iron Man had been as well received as Hulk, Marvel would probably be closed up shop by now, quite frankly, having sold off the rest of what it had. And yeah, I guess if you secretly want to be Elon Musk, then sure, he's great. I choose the family man. I choose the man who doesn't hide behind armor, and who also, by the way, doesn't share that armor with his friends, who could definitely use some of that armor, quite frankly. Never mind the fact, I mean, there are a lot of articles, or, it's a meme about how, the win-loss ratio for the Avengers, they're like, every time Hawkeye is fighting alongside them, they win. Every time he's not, they lose. Every single time, without exception.
Really?
Yep. It's 4 losses without him, 9 wins with him. He's the one who brought, if it hadn't been for him, would Wanda have come? If it hadn't been for him on that rainy night, would Thor be dead? Any other S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, would they have just killed Thor when he was mortal and could have been killed? Hawkeye did not. Who is Steve Rogers going to call when he's on the run? Hawkeye. Who is the one in the Triskelion who, when Tony Stark thought, well, yep, this is all your guys' fault. This is all on you. Hawkeye's the one in the jail who talked him down, and then in the very next scene, Iron Man said, no, okay, I do have to stand by my friends because of what Hawkeye said. Hawkeye is the best.
Wow.
Better than all the rest.
Pretty compelling argument there. I want to shout out in chat.
Oh, yes.
Tibby Baloo says Hawkeye should have died instead of Black Widow. That's their comment.
And I believe that was originally the writer's intent. And I believe Scarlett Johansson said, no, I want this as like the ultimate. Because, it's so important to her arc that, because everything she had done, with this whole show, we could just do another show about MCU. We can't go on about this forever because we do eventually have to. Am I okay with Rahdo, says Tibby throws the Ronin
the point
part.
I was going to bring up. Yeah, remember at the end game, he just went off the deep
How many
end.
people did Steve Rogers murder in World War II? He was running around with a Gatling gun, killing people left and right, and they were just doing their job. How many people does Tony Stark kill in the first movie? Just by, I don't care, I'm just going to fire off some rockets and kill everybody I see. How many people did Hulk kill in Johannesburg? And of course, how many decades, or how many hundreds of people did? Actually, I think they say in the Black Widow movie how many she killed. They all have some very, very dark chapters. And it's hard that Black Widow had to sacrifice herself to redeem herself and to give him a chance at redemption as well. So yeah, I could do this all day. By the way, there you go. I could do this all day, says Steve Rogers.
Yeah, they have a lot of these heroes have dirt on their hands. Yep. So, yeah, this has been fantastic. This is great.
I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe so much. I cannot wait for Hawkeye tonight. Very excited after Loki was so great and WandaVision was so great and there were no other shows.
Were you a big comic book kid?
I was a huge comic book kid growing up.
Same here. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, same here. But it's as excited as I was to see the MCU, grow and develop. I haven't watched them all, and that's one of those things. I don't know why. I just, I enjoy most of what I've seen. I haven't watched all of them yet. So I don't know. I will watch.
First time chatter. Oberon 2000 to quote Arnold, but they were all bad.
They were all bad.
Which we could have an argument about best Arnold Schwarzenegger movie at some point, because I'd make a strong argument for True Lies. Even though it's now a problematic movie, it's still so amazing. I wish it had been a bit more forward-thinking. But, oh man, it's such a great action movie.
You know what's a great action? Okay, real quick. Totally underrated. It's one of my favorite good bad movies of all time, Commando. That movie was so ridiculous, but it's Arnold at his peak. Arnold.
Yes, definitely,
amazing. Yeah. It's a terrible movie, but it's so much fun. Plus, so we got some Commando love in there. There you go. The OG Terminator is great. I love Terminator 2 as well. True Lies, it does have some problems now, but looking back, when it came out, that was a huge hit.
Yep. And it still has my favorite, fisticuffs fight scene in any movie in all of history. That fight between Arnold and the terrorists, The big strong guy in the bathroom where they
Really?
just pretty much rip the whole place apart. The music in
Yeah,
that is
really?
just
That's
so perfect. I can hear every single beat of the music in that fight. And I put that over Neo versus Smith at the end of the Matrix. I put that over everything. I love that one fight scene so much.
My favorite fight scene of all time for a movie called gosh, now I can't think of it. Oh, the They Live by John
Sure,
Carpenter,
in the
famous
alley.
fight scene.
Yeah,
In the
that
alley.
that is
Those
great.
two guys just-
That is fantastic.
Roddy Piper, come on now.
Okay, folks. I think we've done enough of the pre-show now. So we're here
This
to
has been
actually
fun.
do a real show, and thanks for coming along, everybody. So we've got to get ready. Let me go on ahead and get stuff set up. Make sure I've got the. Oh no, we don't. We have to give away a game.
Oh yeah,
We're not
let's
done.
let's give away-
It's contest
Oh my gosh.
time. Oh man, we've got so much to
We got so
do.
wrapped up in all these movies and stuff. Oh my gosh.
Okay, contest time, folks. Last week, there we said a secret word. It was acrylic, and if you spotted when we said it, you are entered. And let me go on. Let me just check email really quick to make sure no last-second entries showed up. It often happens.
Okay.
I'm refreshing Outlook. I'll give it a second, and if not, we will head on over to the browser. Nope, nothing. Okay, so there's about 300. We used to get about 1,000 when we had to hide the secret word, but now people have to look for it. It's much tougher to find. So your chances of winning go up significantly. All right, so let me find my browser. This is for Keep the Heroes Out, which is an excellent cooperative dungeon defense game. The components are fantastic. Let me go on ahead and pull up the Wheel of Names, which I've already loaded up. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah. Good
One
luck, everybody.
lucky winner is going to be very, very happy with this game. Here we go.
Oh, there's a lot of names. On that wheel. Nice. And the winner is
Christoph Bartholomew or Bartholomew. Christoph Bartholomew. Congratulations, Christoph.
Congrats,
And my apologies to everybody else who entered. Keep trying. Once you've done it about 400 times, the odds will be in your favor. You'll eventually win one. But that was a good one.
We're giving away stuff every week. You have a pretty good shot at it.
Yes, exactly. Every week. And we will be giving away this week $50 gift certificate.
Oh,
We have one more thing before we have to start. Because, of course,
by the way,
we have to come up.
Apparently, I'm echoing in this
I'm sorry,
scene, Rahdo. Okay. Apparently, chat said in that scene,
Oh, I know exactly why. Let's see. Hold on a second. Don't talk for a second. This is something I'd want to fix. All right, so I've done. Let's see. Oh, I need to. Where is that? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I need to look at this. Microphone. Ah, yes. Okay. So that means I have to eliminate this. Boom. Thank you for letting me know, because we would have been echoey throughout the entire show. I wanted to be able to get the sound for the wheel, which I assume everybody heard. But that means I've got the sound from you in Skype, and then the sound from Windows meant you were doubling up.
Okay.
There's still a lot to learn with OBS. I'll figure that out later. Thank you, Kabuki, and others. Tim, for Goblin wants to know: are we guaranteeing 400 episodes? I don't know. One a week? That's a long time.
We've been. Is this number 17?
We're at number
or
17
now?
Number 17 of 400.
17. Okay. Wow. I have no comment on that.
Indeed, yes. We'll see how things go. If we can keep fun. I don't know. We'll see if we get sick of each other before too terribly long.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Hopefully not.
we need to come up with a new secret word for the show we're about to record that you folks can watch us record. And before we start, we usually try to figure it out. But we decide, hey, what if you guys pick the secret word? What if you make us come up with a word? So start suggesting secret words now while I go on ahead and prepare. And we'll pick one. Now, you can't say the. We will exercise editorial control. And if you say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, something that is literally going to be impossible for us to work in, try to find one that we could probably work into our list that we've already come up with. Like esoteric, that's certainly one. Unique, unfortunately, I think, is not unique enough. Because it has to be something. We have to be careful about not saying it multiple times. So, while you can watch them, I'm going to set up and get ready for the show, for the really big shoe.
We've got Kumquat, Hawkeye, Esoteric, Unique, Marimo, Combat, Ramshackle, Anti-Establishmentarianism. Yeah, that's not going to fly. Duchess says thankful. Hi, Duchess. Vinyl from Pot Mensch. Commergin. Sesquid. If I can't pronounce it, I ain't doing it. Befuddled. Double Dutch. Oh, I like that one. Elephant. Cardboard. I feel like cardboard is maybe a little too common.
I think so.
Chucker.
All right, so that.
Oh my gosh, I love this. King Engine 1 says, when he drops the guy off the cliff in Commando, he says, remember when I told you I'd kill you last?
Lied.
I lied. Preposterous, Metal, Mesmer. Oh, these are some good suggestions here.
All right, I think I'm queued up. All right, so I've got, or do I have the sponsor? Yes. Hold on a second. Yeah, I got that.
Okay,
and then I'm going to come back to us and see. We have to have the browser because that's our sponsor, and we've got the image to talk about with our sponsor. The show is sponsored by Fun Again Games, folks. In case you hadn't guessed,
Rapscallions. Inconceivable. I like Rapscallion.
Can you think you can work Rapscallion into one of your 5 games? That's
I'm looking at my games right now. I feel like I can. Do you think you could?
No.
That's a tough call.
There are no Rapscallions in any of my games. My games are all happy.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Chemistry is a good general purpose word, but not so common. Photogenic is really nice too.
Schwarzenegger. What is on my list?
You know, I could put Schwarzenegger in.
I might be able to as well.
Okay, are we looking at Schwarzenegger then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me go on ahead and update that, and hopefully they spelled it correctly because I'm just going to copy and paste Nazgoth's entry.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Let's see.
I think Nazgoth got it right. Yeah, Schwarzenegger. That's right.
All right. Okay, let's see. I need to come over here. I need to edit. The secret word is Schwarzenegger. All right.
Okay, I know. Okay, so I do have a game. That
okay, so is it going to be you or me? Cool. You go then. I could do it. But I think it'd probably be better for you to do it.
Yeah. No, you know what? Why don't we'll just, whoever does it first.
No, because then we have to start listening for each other. And then, remember, that's why we stopped doing it, because it was too stressful for us.
Oh,
we wanted to put all the stress on the audience. And by the way, folks, if you came in late, remember, if you don't want the stress of finding when we say the secret word, although this is going to be an easy, that's going to pop whenever somebody says Schwarzenegger. That's a good word for that reason, too. But if you think you aren't going to be able to find it, if you subscribe, and it's free to subscribe if you're an Amazon Prime member, we will just come right out. There's a panel down below that you can unlock subscriber benefits, including knowing when the secret word is. I think you should do it. You should do it. You did it last week. No one will be expecting you to do it 2 weeks in a row.
Aha.
Right, you're sure you can do it.
Reverse psychology. Yep.
All right, so the folks have chosen. The secret word is Schwarzenegger. Plus, it's good I don't do it because I keep doing that, and that's not good. Nobody wants to hear me say Schwarzenegger. Okay, I think we're ready to go. I think we've got everything ready. Is there anything in closing we need to do for the audience before we get going? Oh my gosh, we've been going for 45 minutes already. This pre-show is getting out of control.
Out of control. Which just means we're going to have to make it up on the back end.
I think we will.
Time.
All right. Those were all excellent questions. But I mean, really, once Schwarzenegger was out there, who could beat Schwarzenegger? Befuddled, I love. Elephants are great. I know, and Leva loves elephants. It's literally her name. Hi, Leva. I know you love elephants. We will work elephants in at some point. Leva's a friend of Jen's, IRL, and a friend of mine.
Nice.
But for this week, the secret word is Schwarzenegger. Okay, and thank you very much. What just happened?
Thank you, friend.
I just saw something happen.
What was that?
Book of Nerds, Rebots, Oberon, Poppy, Exacting Vampire, BDM, Nights Around the Table. Thank you everybody for following and subscribing. You'll keep it up. Oh, I've got to turn on the warning because while the show is on, we cannot play nice with the audience. So there's just going to be that reminder down there at the bottom of the screen. Ferret, thank you. Book of Nerds, thank you. But we're going to stop saying thank you to everybody while we're actually filming the R&R show, which is when we do a top 10, which is when we announce we're going to be doing a giveaway. Right, and what are we doing? Mm-hmm. So, hey, everybody, welcome to the R&R show. This week, we're going to help you shop with Fun Again Games, and there's going to be a giveaway. The secret word, send it. We explain all that, and we just go right into the list. You taking number 10?
That's right.
Or are you taking number 1?
I will take
You're taking number 10? Okay, that works with my list. Okay. Phew, I am ready to go. I'm already exhausted. Jeez Louise.
I know this pre-show.
Well, it's because they use their. I mean, after me complaining for so many weeks that nobody was using their things, we just got inundated with requests.
Yeah, because people are starting to build up their points by
Exactly,
watching, getting those channel points by watching and watching.
It's a circle of life. All right.
It is.
Duck of Death, don't worry. We will
Life.
explain how the secret word works once we start recording the show. And it's not like it's a timed thing. It's not like, oh, you have to do it within a certain window. You will literally have a week to do this. Oh, and hey, Karthik! Karthik said he a very good friend of both Jen and mine. Karthik, the show is starting right about now. You're just in time, sir. Okay. Okay, so... Right, and so basically, folks, for the next 40-ish minutes or so, it's just going to be me and Ruel going back and forth. We might, if we're getting tired, we might break like around entry number 5 and check in to see how you're doing. Yeah. We forgot to do that last week, but it is kind of nice to do that. So I think we'll try to do that. Take a little bit of a break midway through.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, just to hydrate.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Circle of Life needs to be a secret word. I like that quite a bit. It doesn't have to be one word. It could be a secret phrase.
Yeah, a little phrase.
I like that. Remind us of that next week, Zeta. That's a good one. Because I don't know. Do you like this? You like the audience choosing? I think that was fun.
I think it's great.
All right, cool.
I never would have thought.
No, in a million years. So yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. I am gonna go over and then Ruel disappear for a second. We'll be right back, folks. One last swig. All
right. Thanks again for joining us, folks. This is the R&R Show. We're about to do our thing, so stick around and enjoy.
All right. And if I'd been ready, I would have transitioned right there and it would have been perfect. But I can't find the link. There it is. There. All right. Hey, everybody. This week's episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by Fun Again Games. And welcome, one and all, and welcome to my co-host, Ruel. How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on again. It's so much fun doing these, Rahdo. We are on number 17, believe it or not. That's like, in real time, that's like 3 months.
Are you serious?
Almost 3 months now.
Oh my gosh.
We've been doing this, right? Amazing.
And they said it would never last.
And we proved them wrong, my friend. We proved them wrong.
For today.
Yeah.
Today, folks, is a very cool episode brought to you by Fun Again Games. And when Fun Again sponsors the show, what we tend to do is a topic we've done 3 times now. This will be our 4th time of games we'd like to buy right now, where we just kind of go through their online catalog of games and look at things that jump out at us. And that's been a lot of fun. But you know what? The holidays are upon us. And so we thought it would be perfect to actually switch it up a little bit. We are going to be trying to recommend, in our opinion, 10 great games that make wonderful gifts that you can buy from our sponsor, Fun Again Games. Although you can buy them in all over the place. Don't feel obligated to. But you might want to, because every week on the R&R Show, we do a little contest giveaway. And this week, the giveaway is a $50 gift certificate from Fun Again Games that could work for just about anybody in the world. So, if you're lucky enough to win, that might help with the holiday shopping blues. And maybe something we talked about might be of interest. So, Ruel, what is the secret word?
The secret word, folks, is Schwarzenegger, as in Arnold.
As in Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that's somehow, some way, we're going to be talking about our top 10 list game here, and somehow work in Schwarzenegger in the
very casually.
So very casually, it may slip past you, so pay careful attention, folks. And when one of us does that, note the game that we are talking about at that time, and that's the game we want to see in an email to contest@rahdo.com. Put Schwarzenegger. You're gonna have to Google it and figure out the spelling.
Well, they don't have to put Schwarzenegger. That's a mistake that I myself have made. What you need to do, contest@rahdo.com. If we were talking about Monopoly at the moment that somebody mentioned Schwarzenegger, like Schwarzenegger, got sent to jail just like in Monopoly, or whatever. Not that he did. I hope not. You would write the word Monopoly in the subject of your email that you would send to contest@rahdo.com. So don't worry, you do not have to spell Schwarzenegger correctly. Yep, as it says there on the screen, email to contest@rahdo.com the secret word game. Not the secret word, but the game we're talking about when the secret word is mentioned in your subject. And that means my Outlook will catch it in a filter. It'll dump it all in a contest. And a week from now, on Tuesday, what day? Tuesday, the 30th of November, 2021, we will have a drawing, and one lucky winner who caught Schwarzenegger will be able to get that $50 gift certificate just in time for the holidays. Right. Yes. Does that make sense? Did we get that cool. Right?
We did. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, I stumbled there a little bit, but yes, that's how you do it, folks. Again, contest@rahdo.com, and we will draw the winner next week during the show, and we actually do the drawings during the pre-show. So those of you that don't know, we record this live on Tuesdays here on Twitch before we export it over to YouTube for the Wednesday release. And if you join us on Tuesday, you get all kinds of fun little extra bits and stuff. And we just had a conversation about Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously. So to find out when, check out the R&R Show bonus feature, right? We have a bonus show.
Yep. But today, we are not doing any of that wacky live Twitch stuff right now. We are here to talk about games. 10 of them, in fact. The top 10 games to give as gifts. And so, I don't know how you did this. I'm really kind of curious. I mean, obviously, we both went to sponsor Fun to Get Games site, where they're doing a Black Friday sale right now, and they've got ongoing sales. They've got liquidation. I mean, so they've got lots of deals. What I ultimately decided to do, making my list, is I wanted to pick my 5 of the 10 games are ones that I am fairly confident will work with just about anybody.
Okay.
So I went broad. I didn't go for really any big super heavy games that would be what I'd want to get or something like that. I wanted to do stuff, that I knew I could give to a gamer geek friend, but that I could also give to my mom. So they would just work across the board, that there would be something in there that anybody could appreciate. And I actually found a lot of really great opportunities. What was your criteria?
That's really interesting, because I took a similar approach, but I did it like, I took my games and I wanted to reach a broad audience, but I also wanted to reach my gamer friends as well. So I was thinking 1 or 2 of these will be for a broad audience, non-gamers or casual gamers, and then 1 or 2 of these will be for more veteran or hardcore gamers, and the one sort of like in between, that can straddle that. Hey, it's good for gateway gamers and also for hobby gamers as well. So I did a little bit of everything here.
Yep, we both looked at it the same way, but came up with a different approach to hitting it. So that should make for an interesting list.
Right.
Okay then.
Cool.
Well, I think we're ready to go, and I think you're starting off with your number 10, correct?
I am.
Do you have the text file ready to type in the name?
Yes, I'm doing that right now. And so my number 10, and I want to make sure I spell this.
By the way, folks, we do not collude at all. I have no idea what Ruel's about to come up with. He has no idea what I'm about to come up with.
That's right. So number 10 is, and now I forgot how to do this. Do I?
All you have to do is save the file.
Control S.
Yep. Save. Yeah. Sync.
Yeah. Okay. Number 10, Mesozoic. So it's Mesozoic, but with an extra O, because this game is a filler game. This is the one I chose for a broader audience. It's from Z-Man, and it's on sale right now at Fun Again Games. Mesozoic, have you played this?
No, I have not. I don't know anything about this.
All right.
But it is 35% off right now.
Right?
$12. You're $13 for this game. What is it?
It is a perfect stocking stuffer. It works for non-gamers and gamers, but it is about building your dinosaur park. And so the dinosaurs have come back, but we're gonna be safe about it. Unlike that, rotten Jurassic Park, we actually have our dinosaurs in enclosures. We have a monorail system, and what this is, if you see there on screen, but I'll describe it. It's a 4x3 grid. But with 1 card missing. So it's like one of those slider puzzles, right? We've talked about this before. You're going to slide this around and try to match things up. You want the monorail to go as far as you can in the park. You'll get points for that. You want the enclosures to be enclosed because you don't want your dinosaurs running around everywhere. Then you also have amusement park rides as well. But what you're doing, you have 45 seconds to do this.
I see. It is a real-time game, yes.
Yes. And what's neat about it, what I really liked about it is before you get your cards, it's a little bit of card drafting
Hmm.
as well. So you and your opponents each get 11 cards. You're going to choose two, pass them
Okay.
over, choose another two until everyone has 11. Then you lay them out randomly
And
on the
that's the
table.
trick.
You start the
I've
time.
got all these cards that
Yes.
work well together, but they're all shuffled up,
Yep.
and I've got a slide puzzle.
Yes,
Wow.
and how can I slide them around to get the monorail going? Because you don't want that monorail just fly off a
Indeed.
cliff or whatever. Yeah, so it's Michelle and I play this. It takes 20 minutes to play. It's super fast. You play 3 rounds. It's a fun little puzzle. We like those type of games, and the art is cute. It's perfect for a wide variety of ages. That is Mesozoic
Wow.
from I believe it's Z-Man
Okay.
Games.
Alrighty. Well, I don't I now that you describe it, I do kind of recognize it a little bit, and that does sound
Yeah.
very cool. Now, of course, some people are just gonna bolt. I mean, is there like you played it? Is there a non-real time or?
There is. Yes, they do have rules that
Okay.
allow you to say, hey, if you don't want to play it real time, here's the way to do it. And they also have advanced cards as well. So this is the basic setup where you just have a couple of different things, but then you can add the advanced such as the T-Rex, which will destroy stuff. And it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend this, especially for $13. I mean, that is a deal. Like I love games that are in this price range that offer a lot more than they punch above
Yeah,
their
I
weight,
didn't mention
basically.
that, but price consciousness was something I was definitely concerning
Same,
myself with as well, which is why it was great because
same.
there are so many sale games on right now. Because of course everybody's doing Black Friday this week. All right, so
Yep.
number 10, that makes sense. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, well,
Yeah, Mesozoic.
let's move on to my number 9, which I will queue up here, and I will find the text file because you can't edit this for me now. I should say what I just said about being price conscious, and what I just said about
Uh-oh.
trying to pick a game that's good for everybody. This is at the bottom of my list. It's number 9 because I kind of broke both of those rules, but I could not put roll camera on the board. I absolutely had
Oh,
to. This is, spoiler alert, folks, all but guaranteed to be my game of the year for 2021 at the end of the year.
so good.
It's so
Yes.
good. And everybody loves the movies, right? I mean, the subject matter, I think, is certainly very broadly appealing because this is a cooperative game where everybody around the table is trying to deal with all kinds of emergencies that happen on set while trying to make the best movie they can. Or, alternatively, the worst movie you can, because one way you can win is by making a movie so bad it's good. I've never been able to pull that off, so I always just try to make good movies. But it's
Yeah.
incredibly thematic. The gameplay is really sharp. And, there's a lot of co-op games on the market, but they all tend to follow the pandemic formula of, oh, let's just run around a board and fight fires and try to complete an objective. Here, the what we're actually trying to do feels very true to life. Everybody has a hand of idea cards. When problems come up, one of the actions you can do in this worker placement dice game is call a meeting, and that means everybody gets the opportunity to add a new idea to solve the problems at hand. And whoever is the director that round has to pick one of all those ideas. Maybe they'll pick their own, or maybe somebody else will have had a better idea. But one of the other ideas then goes into a queue so it can be done later at a cost. Everything about this game is brilliant. I love the presentation. I love the gameplay. Now, this is the only game on my list that is not on sale, for the record. But it is also my favorite game on the list. And I do worry because not everybody out there likes cooperative games. But if you suspect that if you have people in your life who love the movies, or TV for that matter, and really love the behind the scenes stuff, the making of stuff, and you suspect they would like to work together, oh my gosh, this game ticks all of those boxes, and I cannot recommend highly enough my number 9, roll camera.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games of the year as well. It's so brilliant. I love like they have the little puzzly part of it, the polyominoes where you're trying to set the scene, like set up the setting and everything, and then you do different scenes as well. Oh, so good. That's yeah. I mean, it's totally worth what the price is, folks. Definitely look
All
into
right.
it. That is Roll Camera. That is your number
Yeah.
9. Let me get my number 8 on cue here. This may surprise you. I was surprised to see this one on the
Okay.
sale here, but it is my number 8. Um, Bazaar. Bazaar.
Bizarre. Oh my.
Okay,
Okay.
that's the look I wanted. I wanted to throw something out there that you may not have heard of.
How
This is
bizarre.
Rahdo, this game is a game from
Jeez
1967,
Louise.
and it's Sid Saxon, the brilliant
Okay.
designer who was way ahead of his time, folks, way ahead of his time. This is his version of Splendor back in 1967.
You are blowing my mind.
It is so good, and I'm jealous of. I have two friends that have copies. I haven't gotten my copy yet, but they both swear by this. They'd rather play this than Splendor, and I can see why. I think it's easier to learn than Splendor, so it's got the same basic. Hey, you want to trade, resources for resources, and eventually get the target card, right? So the target cards are your goals. So the targets would be like you need 2 reds and 2 blue chips or gems to turn in, but randomly at the start of each game, you're going to they call it equation cards. It's basically the exchange rate, so those randomly show up at the start of the game, so every game's different.
Okay.
You're going to have like an exchange rate of, hey, you can change 1 red for 2 greens, 1 green and 1 yellow for 2 blues, etc., etc. So on your turn, you're doing one of 2 things. You either roll a die and take that color gem into your hand, or you do one of those exchanges on the equation. So you're trying to be efficient about what resources you get, and by the time you get those resources enough for one of those target cards, you put it on the target card and you score points based on how efficient you did it. If you did it perfectly, you get like 5 points. If you have some extra resources left over, then you would get 3 points, and so forth. It's a brilliant design.
It sounds to me like you just described a game that came out last year.
Right? And that's the thing. This is 1967, way back in the day. Sid Saxon, folks, it is a classic. Look at that price. Over on Fun Again, it is over 50% off, and I highly recommend it. I need to get a copy. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to buy this right now. It's amazing.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Okay,
game. Now, I think the only gripe some people have, it's an abstract game that's hard, and it doesn't have cool art of Splendor. But and another thing, too, I should mention, it is not colorblind friendly. My eyes are not happy with this game, but when I get mine, I'm totally going to mark it.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
That is bizarre. That's my
I imagine in the 60s, colorblindness was not first and foremost on developers' minds, more than likely.
Yeah, apparently everyone had perfect
Go figure. Yeah,
60s.
Who knew? Wow. That's an excellent choice. And it's nice. I mean, it sounds like it's got really deep gameplay. It's the only reason not to do it, like you said, it would be kind of abstract. I'll admit later on I've got some abstracts as well, because the nice thing about an abstract is it can appeal to anybody if the components are nice. Just look at Azul, as proof of that.
Exactly. And it's language independent.
Yes, and it's from, the unheralded, Sid Saxon, our industry today owes so much to him. And so to be able to go back and get a history lesson, but one that still feels fresh and relevant today, that's an amazing choice. I really have to doff my cap to you, sir. I saw that and just kept on walking. And I'm embarrassed now when I was coming up with my list. An excellent number 8 Bizarre. Nice one.
Love it.
Okay, well, we're going to come right back up to the modern day. It's all Cult of the New with me, because my number 7 is Funfair, which, oh my gosh, I love this game so much. And this one is on sale. All of mine are on sale, so they're good deals. And actually, it's interesting. As my list goes on, the cost drops. They get the closer to the number 1, the cheaper it gets. And as part of my recommendation, because hey, it's always a gamble to buy a gift for somebody. So, but if you're only gambling $12 or $15, it doesn't hurt so bad if it doesn't quite land. But Funfair, I think, is a game that can have huge mass market cross appeal. This is kind of what I was talking about right up front, what you were talking about up front too. A game that can appeal to casual new players, because the subject matter is just instantly approachable for anybody who has any familiarity with fun park rides and all of that, who've ever been to Disneyland or ever wanted to go to Disneyland or dreamed of building Disneyland. That's what players are doing in this game. But there is real depth in this game as well. A ton of stuff going on. I would love on Christmas morning to have somebody in the family open this up, say, "Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Teach me how to play it." And I would sit down and we would play it for the rest of the day, because it's absolutely phenomenal. Yes. A really great game that can get a little heavy, but all the weight is tied into those cards. And everybody, when it's not your turn, you can really think about, well, how's this card? Oh, I see. That card would combine with that card. And then I say, you just discovered combos, which is what makes gaming great. So I think it's not quite a gateway game, but it's one that could launch people in, because it's got great presentation, great variety, and I absolutely love it. Moving forward, I'm going to go a bit more broad. These first two, are two of my favorite games of the year. Both of these, I suspect, will make it into my top 10 for 2021. And when I saw that it was 20% off here, and I just tried to imagine, could I play this with my mom on Christmas morning? Yeah, I think I could. So I went ahead and did it. I put Funfair on as my number 7.
Nice. And I know this one, I remember Unfair, and I
Yes.
didn't really care for that one, but I know this one like smooths out all the stuff that people didn't like about Unfair and made it into a better game from what I
Oh yeah,
understand.
very much so. If you'd heard of Unfair or you even tried Unfair and thought, oh, this is just too mean-spirited, the nice thing about Funfair is it took all the mean cards out but kept all the great gameplay. Highly recommend.
Yeah, nice.
So what have you got,
Great
sir,
choice.
for number 6?
Okay, let's move on to number 6. I've got one for more for the gaming audience, but this is one of my favorite games of the last few years. It is number 6, Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated.
Okay.
This,
that's a big box.
This is one of my top 2 legacy games of all time, along with Pandemic. But look at this price on Fun Again games. They knocked a big chunk off of it. And I think that's the right price point for this. I mean, it's a great price point for this thing. And you had just talked about how you would play, open it up on Christmas Funfair and you play all day. This is what I would want to do on my Christmas. Open this up with family or friends or whoever and play, as much as we can during that time. It's a wonderful, wonderful legacy game. The story is so much fun. It's just, there's a lot of comedy, a lot of like fantasy, like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, funny stuff in there. It takes the deck building of Clank and it just adds a campaign to it. You're going to be, adding some new mechanisms, creating, ripping up cards like other legacy games. I always like, I don't know, it's a little thing. It's done in all the legacy games, but I always love naming the characters. You can write on the cards, like, maybe my character's name is Manny. Yours could be, Schwarzenegger or whatever. These type of little touches. I love that in legacy games. So Clank Legacy, I think, did you do a video?
I have done a video demonstrating the first level. And, talking about the first level, I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's such a smart idea to put this on the list because, as we talked about, I mean, if you're giving gifts, you want to make sure it'll work. A Clank Legacy starts really light. It starts much lighter than regular Clank. And over the first few missions, more and more rules get turned on. And by the time you've finished the entire campaign, which, I don't know, could you actually do that in one day? That would be quite the marathon. I don't think that's going to happen.
It would be a marathon, yeah. But hey, it's the holidays. You got the days off.
Exactly. I mean, that's going to be something the family's going to be playing for the rest of the week. And just watching as the world, grows in front of you. That's a really smart idea. I like that one a lot.
I love that. And also, after the end of the campaign, that board is still usable. You have your own custom board that you can play standard Clank in as well. So it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly.
Folks.
Yeah.
Number 6,
I can imagine buying it
Legacy
for somebody
Acquisition
and then coming back next year and say, hey, did you finish it? I want to play on your board. I want to see what your world looks like because it's going to be a lot different than mine because we already played it. That works on so many levels. I think you're winning this list so far. I have to admit. Well done.
No, we both have some really good.
Okay. You're very kind.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to your number 5.
Okay. And then I'm going to stop for a second and get a drink of water. All right.
Okay. Yeah. No, you want to take a little quick break?
Do you need to? I'm just going to check the audience.
I'm going to hydrate.
Yeah.
I will hydrate. Let's check on the audience, see how everyone's doing.
This is going well. That bizarre. Oh my gosh, that is a good choice.
I saw that and I was like, oh man, if you haven't played this, you
convinced me. I don't want to play this. I need to play this to better myself in my job, quite frankly.
It's so funny to me just thinking about this dude came up with this game in 1967, and like you said, it could totally be released today. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why someone doesn't pick it. I think it's still put out by Eagle Griffin. Like, why not soup it up a little bit, put some, nice bits and everything. Like, I would totally buy a deluxe.
We're still just ignoring the audience. We can actually talk to the audience now. I'm just going to scroll back up and see if anything came up. See if anybody showed up. Want to say thanks to anybody. Thanks, Bad Brad staff and Beer City Board Games, Aldi Brown, Seer 20, A Woods, not Monuki. Well, who is Monuki then? Ferret 70, Book of Nerds. Thank you all for following, and thank you, Palio de Monte, for subscribing with Prime. You're getting us all that much closer to those goals up at the top of the board. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Want to say hi to Eclectic Camel. He says Rahdo now has 666.
Oh, do I? Oh my gosh, wow. Yes I do.
That's the metal sign right there, folks. 666.
You know what? If
yes.
anybody uses their channel points to ask for some trivia, I've got some. That reminds me of some trivia about myself.
Oh, someone.
Thank you, because I actually,
someone
if the
let's get
trivia
some
wheel had to come out and it landed on me, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. Now I've got trivia at the ready, thanks to Eclectic Count for pointing out that for one brief moment, I don't know, is everybody just going to leave it alone and not touch it? And Goblin 981 was Johnny on the spot. So we'll roll the wheel later and see if you can find out my trivial connection to 666.
Ooh, oh man, I can't wait.
All right, what else have we got? All right, folks, we're talking. Oh, Sid Saxon, the greatest of all time, says Kabuki Kid, and yep.
So Sid Saxon, we've got Acquire, Can't Stop. What are those are the two biggies, right?
Yeah. Well, although Bizarre, now I'm gonna say. Honestly, I would rather play Bizarre than Can't Stop or Acquire when it boils right down to it. That sounds like it's more my jam when it boils right down to it.
I feel like it's your jam for sure. I like Can't Stop, but Acquire. I mean, Bizarre is so good. Criminally underrated and overlooked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Nazgoth also requested trivia in the beginning, apparently.
Oh, okay. So
cool.
we've got a couple queued up.
We got you,
which we'll get to in the post show. We'll have some Q&A and we'll try and hit some more of those things. And maybe the wheel will favor you all. Maybe it won't. The wheel is capricious.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, people are talking about apps integration. People were talking about the secret word chosen by you folks. I love that.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, this is great. There's some really nice conversation going here.
Yeah, well, good. Well, then you don't need us, quite frankly. We can get back to it. Let me just get a swig. You don't need to hit the head.
We'll do our
You're
show.
fine.
I'm good. Yeah, what about you?
I'm okay. All right.
Okay, I've got my Topo Chico, so I'm hydrated.
You do, yes. We will make that happen
Topo
someday.
Chico, folks. Es muy delicioso.
You know what? At Board Game Geek Convention, I was too away from that Board Game Coffee Company. Have you had their coffee?
Oh, yeah. I haven't had the coffee yet, but I know who you're talking about. Did you sample any? You're not a coffee
No, I'm
drinker,
not. But I kept meaning the whole week to go over them and say, hey, I don't drink coffee, but my co-host does. And while he would really like to have a Topo Chico sponsorship, he might be interested in I forget the name of the coffee. I'll have to contact them after, because you do drink coffee. You're a coffee drinker, right?
I've pretty much given up coffee, but I drink the occasional cup, and I do decaf occasionally as well. But for a sponsorship, I will drink it.
I see folks are asking, you know what, folks? I'm not going to say, all right, I'm just going to reply to Nazgoth directly, because I can do that. All right.
Oh, Nazgoth had a question.
I had a question about the secret word. Right.
Oh, got it.
You know what?
Okay, cool.
I think when we get to the end, we'll have to remember, okay, folks, did you hear the secret word when we're doing the wrap-up? We will have to say something like, and you know what? Don't worry so much about spelling. Don't worry about, getting the whole thing. I mean, if you do anything that's instantly recognizable as the game, you're in, because that was the question that just was asked. Oh, and thank you, Laura, a Cacodemon, Laura, for following. Nice. Although, how ironic, the Cacodemon knocked us out of 666 followers.
Right?
I mean, the 666 must have summoned the Cacodemon. That's what happened.
That's it exactly.
There we go.
Yep, that's it exactly. Hey, Gator Dave, thanks for first time chat. Good to see you here, friends. Tim says Ruel said earlier he got rid of his coffee consumption. Don't bring him back to addiction. I won't be addicted, but for a sponsorship, I will drink a coffee. No lie. You can buy me off pretty cheap, friends. Oh my gosh, so good. I love chat. Y'all are great.
Okay, let me go on ahead and queue up my number 5. I think I already have. Let's see.
Yeah.
No, I still got Clank on the screen, which was your number 6, right? My number 5.
Yep. Let me get ready for my
By the way,
4.
when I'm actually talking about mine, just type into the text file what your next one is. As long as you don't hit sync, it won't appear. So that, when we're done, you can just get right to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that because I was worried that I'm like typing over your stuff.
Oh, yeah. It'll only overwrite if you Control S or if you hit that sync. So that's what I'm doing. While you're talking, I'm getting all my stuff ready to go, and I just haven't Controlled S so that, it can just go that much smoother. So, yeah, don't worry about it. Goblin981 says, next week sponsored by cigarettes. 9 out of 10 doctors smoke Camel. Yes, there we go. We can do a Camel up, cigarette over.
Oh, that's a perfect
one,
right? Well, when I play Camel up, I smoke Camels. There it is.
Yep. Kabuki does warn, Control S can be just like an instant response for everybody. Oh shoot, I forgot to put mid show on the. We've just been looking at. It's fine. This is the casual part. It's okay if I mess stuff up. Let me go on ahead.
And you edit this out anyway, so
Yeah,
we're good.
yeah. So let me.
By the way, I want to say, everyone, thank you for all the Iron Maiden references in chat. I appreciate you all for that. The Number of the Beast 666. Yes, Bruce Dickinson and all the great Iron Maiden members. Were you an Iron Maiden fan?
No, not really. I mean, I have nothing against them. It just, I mean,
Yeah.
at the height of the '80s, is when I discovered the Beatles. So throughout pretty much all of the 80s, I was tangentially aware that there was stuff other than the Beatles, but I didn't care. The only things I listened to were the Beatles. That was my choice. I actually went down to a used record store and got their entire catalog on really crappy, scratchy vinyl. Recorded all of them onto tape, and then took them back a week later and sold them back for 50%. And so, for me, the Beatles don't sound right if there's not that that crackle, with my old Walkman. And so if I wasn't listening to that, I was listening to Dire Straits, because throughout the 70s, my dad, he chose what was on the radio, and it was all country western. But at some point in the 80s, he really got into Dire Straits. So I can quote from memory almost everything. I am the Sultan of Swing, quite frankly. And
well, are you excited about the Get
Oh my gosh, I am so excited about it.
Same here. Michelle and I just watched the trailer for like the third time last night. We cannot wait. Yeah, that's going to be
Although
so
that
good.
can't compare to Gator Dave's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hiss Club Band. That even got some bits. Congratulations, Eclectic Camel. Tad to cheer the Lonely Hiss Club Band. And we're one step closer. 100 bits is $1. We're $1 closer to unlocking an extra run through. Thank you very much, Eclectic Camel. And yes, I would say, and Tibby agrees, Dire Straits is amazing. All-time greats. Oh man, I love them so much. Honestly, I'd be hard-pressed. If you had to, what's my favorite band? I guess I'll go with the Beatles. I could be swayed towards Dire Straits, quite frankly. I don't know if they're in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm more of a Beatles fan. Dire Straits. I never really got into Dire Straits, but the Beatles I grew up with, and I was just telling Michelle and I just had this conversation. Actually, we're talking about favorite Beatles album, and it changes. It's changed for me so many times. I used to be a big Revolver fan, and you know what? We could probably save this for.
We could, yes. People could throw album X, album Y at us. Oh my God, now that would be monstrous if they do a this or that.
That would be
with I don't know, White Album versus Abbey Road. Oh, you would make my heart hurt so bad if you were to do something like that.
Yeah.
Not that. I think we're done with this or that. I think all the ones have been used up for this episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 5 years ago, my answer would have been different as far as White Album versus Abbey Road. My answer is totally different now than it was 5 years ago, and it may change 5 years from now. Who knows? But great stuff, folks. We will, we'll start redeeming that stuff when we can.
Cool. Yeah, because we're here to do a job. We're here to actually talk about games.
I know.
Thank you for the follow, Gator Dave, by the way. And Tyron EAQ. All right. So, actually, I deleted it. Put your Clank entry back online so that in the final edit, you won't have seen it disappear or reappear. Now that I think about it, I should have left it there the whole time.
Okay, cool.
Perfecto. Done. Okay. Let me turn back on the... Okay, folks. Sultans of Swing is one of the coolest songs ever. Yes, you're right. Eclectic Camel might have been cheering my Sultans. We are the Sultans of... I'm not going to sing it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Oh, man. Or individual songs. Anyway, I'm not focus. Games. No Love Struck Romeo, singing Streets of Serenade, laying everybody low with the love song that he made. Okay, gotta stop.
Save it for the after show.
Yes, okay.
The after show.
So we're once again, audience, we're not paying attention to you as we go through the last 5 of our list, and then after we're done, we'll do a pro show. We'll do some Q&A. We'll see if anybody had spent stuff on channel points. So, so talk amongst yourself. I will give you yet another topic. Beatles versus Dire Straits. Discuss. Oh, okay. Oh, and I just belched big time. That's
well, this is what the break is for. Let's get all the
yes, indeed.
bodily functions out of the way here. And
okay, so I've got my number 5 up, and let me go back to the text file. So I'm ready to put it in position. All I gotta do is Control S. Is that the top line? Yes or no? It isn't. Boop. There we go. Pop, 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 pop. All right. Alrighty. Ready, spaghetti?
Ready, spaghetti, sir.
Well, okay. My number 5, you might not have heard of, Rel. It's called Noctiluca. Are you familiar with this one?
Oh, I've I've heard the name. I have no idea what this game is about. I'm
It is
curious.
a
Yeah.
wonderful little game, and I mentioned earlier that I've got some abstract stuff going on. This is my abstract. This actually started to make me aware that maybe my wife actually secretly loved abstracts, and I never knew, because the first time we played it, Jen said, "You are not getting rid of that game. That is fantastic." And I think it is a perfect gift potential game because, one, well, it's from designer Shem Phillips. It's one of his lesser known titles. Everybody's very excited
Oh.
about the West Kingdom games. Everybody's very excited about the Raiders of the North Sea games, and his next series, it's coming next year. Him and Sam McDonald working. Interestingly, Noctiluca was published by Z-Man Games, not his normal Garphill, and it is a beautiful, beautiful abstract game. And this picture on the Fun Again site does not do it justice. Go to Board Game Geek and find pictures, because it comes with an explosion of beautiful, super colorful, translucent dice. They don't look like it here, but what you do as part of setup, you roll all these dice, you clamp them all into this big hex grid, and on your turn, what you're going to do, you're going to pick one row or column, hex style, so you can be going in lots of different directions, 3 different directions, and then pick a pip value and grab every die in that row or column. And you're doing it to try to get the right color dice to fill up your recipe cards that you've got. It is incredibly brain burny, super
Yes.
crunchy, and it is gorgeous. Every second you are playing this game, you're thinking, "Oh, it's just so beautiful. I don't want to take them." But then you're just taking them, you're bringing all that beauty over to you. It's super duper crunchy. That would be my one warning about this game. I don't see how anybody could not have a fun time playing it. It's so simple. It's elegant. It's easy to understand. It's easy to teach, but it is deep, deep, deep. But it's a kind of, it's a go type of deep that anybody can understand. And the more you play, the more you appreciate all the subtleties of every move you make. And the other interesting thing about it too is those first few turns are the toughest, because you look around the board and okay, I know I want some oranges. Oh, I guess I could get like 3 oranges over there because there's 3 4-inch ores in that row, but is there something better? It's almost like if you've played, I'm sure you've played 5 Tribes. You know how at the beginning of 5 Tribes, it's like,
Yes.
there's everything. It's overwhelming almost. But as the game goes
Yep.
on and more stuff comes off the board, the game accelerates, because you're desperately scrabbling to try to get those last little things. And so the game has this really wonderful sense of velocity too, where it starts off really crunchy, and when it's not your turn, you're just having a chat with folks as people just like, "Oh my gosh, there's a million things I could do." But it just gets faster and faster, and really very, very satisfying. So pretty. And again, these pictures, I mean, the best thing I can do is just look at the cover art. The game lives up and is even better looking than the cover art. Do judge a book by its cover. It's beautiful. It is my number 5, Noctiluca.
Wow. I had no idea Shem Phillips had this
I
type of
know.
game. I'm used to hearing Shem Phillips, I think worker placement, so this looks fantastic. And you had me at a fistful of dice. I saw those dice like, yeah, I'm in. Michelle and I think that'd be our jam right there. That looks fantastic.
Well, cool.
Okay.
What's your number 4?
Let's move on to my number 4. My number 4 is coming up on screen here in just a second. My number 4 is Parks.
Of course. Oh, you cannot get enough of those Parks.
I love this game. I played it for the first time earlier this year, and I just introduced it to Michelle a few weeks ago, and she loved it as well. It reminds me, I mean, it's so beautiful, component-wise, art-wise, and the gameplay reminds me a little bit of Tokaido. It's just this very calm, serene, hey, just move along the trail, pick up some items, some resources, because you want to go visit these parks. So you're, picking up resources, and you want to go reserve a visit to the park and then actually visit it to get the points. And they don't have the expansion on sale, unfortunately, because the expansion, we just played it just a couple of nights ago. It is brilliant. It makes a good game great, or a great game like fantastic, whatever you want to say. It's just, I love everything about this game. It's something that is easily accessible because the rule set is pretty straightforward, and you can teach this to a new gamer. And I see this during the holidays as, hey, you're going to put this on the holidays, and you know how everyone sort of like dresses up their house for the holidays. I think this would look fantastic on a holiday spread. It's just so gorgeous and such a brilliant game. That's my number 4.
That is an
Parks.
excellent choice. It makes a lot of sense. Easy to teach, easy to play. I'm curious. I've played the base game. I haven't played the expansion. I'm actually going to put our list on hold for a little bit. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah.
My only problem with Parks was we found, Jen and I, as a 2-player game, we really felt like, boy, I wish there was more players here to make that moving down the Tokaido style track more interesting. Same thing is true for Tokaido, by the way. In Tokaido, they just put a dummy player on that becomes very cutthroat. Parks doesn't do anything for player scaling. I'm curious. You mentioned the expansion. Does it do anything for the 2-player game?
For the 2-player game, what it does is it adds a thing called campsites.
Ooh.
And it's a little token on that you put on every other tile, and the campsite allows you to go down to the campsite and take different actions. And that, I think, that opens it up a little more. I still think it would play better at 3 or 4 players. But here's the thing, Rahdo, with the expansion, you know those end game goal cards you have, the year cards or whatever they're called? They're not so great in the base game. They are excellent. They replace the entire deck in the expansion, and you can stack them, and you can get more than one of them during the game. There's a spot on the extra action spots where you can gain more of those end game goal cards. And also on the new Parks cards, they have instant actions. So when you visit them, you return the resources, you're going to get the victory points, but it'll also give you an instant action that you can do right there. So it's a little more combo-y.
That sounds like that would address, because honestly, it just felt like in a 2-player game, the base game's like, this is not very hard. I can get what I need to get. There's almost too much largesse, but now that there's more target stuff, but I got to do that. But I got to do that. But I got to do that. Yeah. That sounds like it really brings it. And an interesting thing, you get them hooked with the Parks, and then for a birthday gift, you get them the expansion.
See? You're thinking exactly what I was thinking. It's like they love Parks so much, and now you get the expansion. And now just tying it back into Tokaido, I felt like Tokaido did that too. The base game is great. It's straightforward, but then you add that expansion, add that little gambling element. You have a couple of more things that you can collect as far as sets go. I think it elevates that game. The expansion also elevates Parks. But Parks, folks, fantastic game. I highly recommend.
I suspect you will get a lot of folks agreeing with you. That is a very popular game these days. Okay. Cool. That was your number 4. So let's move on to my number 3. Railroad Ink. The Shining Yellow Edition. Yeah, now, Railroad Ink is an interesting series. This is the 4th game. There was first Railroad Ink Blue and Railroad Ink Red. Then, that came out. It's a roll and write game, which has very simple rules, very easy to teach. This is the definition of, easy to learn, hard to master kind of thing. Because what we're trying to do every round, there are these cool special custom dice rolled that when they roll, everybody, bingo style, has to find ways to, whatever the dice say you have to add to your grid, you have to add. And you're trying to create connections between rail lines and road lines. And the simple game is just make those rails and roads as best you can to connect as many exits off the board. But each different version of Railroad Ink came with bonus dice. The blue one came with dice that were all about lakes and water. The red one came with red dice that were all about volcanoes and meteors and destroying stuff. The first 2 games I really loved. I still own both of them. Just last week at Board Game Geek Con, I got a chance to play green and yellow. And so I figured Railroad Ink, any of the 4 Railroad Inks makes an excellent gift. And I thought about it. Okay, if I was going to mention one, which one would it be? I think it would be yellow. Which is why, any of them are good, but I'm going to go with yellow. Yeah. The interesting thing about green and yellow is they're actually called Railroad Ink Challenge, because they not only add new colored dice that change the rules up in new ways. The yellow one introduces desert dice and cactuses and canyons. You can try and be connect around the Grand Canyon. And the green one introduces forests and nature walking trails. But more than that, they add these new elements on the board that make the reason it's called challenge is because the first games were pure, simple, straightforward gateway games. These new ones are. I was shocked how much more crunchy it was, how much more there is going on in both yellow and green. And so I think of all the 4 games, well, if you want the simpler, lighter one, you go with the blue or red. based on color, or if you want more destructive or more building type things. But yellow takes it that extra notch. You can still teach new players how to play. You can ignore the more complex stuff. And when the players are ready for the complex stuff, honestly, of the two, I thought yellow, with its sun and cactuses and canyons, were a bit easier to teach, a bit more straightforward. Green, I personally might like a little bit better, but it is more complex with the way that forests come in and the way that nature trails work. I mean, it's probably the most complex the game has been. So I do think of all the ways to play it, Shining Yellow Edition is the perfect one to get. And it's 25% off here at $15. Nice. And any number, let's see, how many people can play it? I mean, it's based on the number, only 1 to 4? Why? Isn't this a bingo game?
1 to 4.
Why do they say that?
Like you can.
Because
you can
because
totally
it's not a pad and paper. It's a dry erase board. So, but the interesting thing is, you could buy, the more copies of Railroad Ink you buy, the more people can play. You get a second copy of, you get the blue plus the yellow. Then you've got 4 different ways to play with the blue dice or the yellow dice, but suddenly 8 people can play. You then go out and get the red, and now you've got 12 people who can play, and you've got 6 different variants. It's a really clever system, and considering how low cost they are, to me, it was just a no-brainer. When I saw it was on sale in their Black Friday sale, I was like, well, of course. And like I said, Jen and I, we just played it for the first time just a few days ago, and we both fell in love with it. I'm like, okay, I don't want to come home to that blue and red. I want to play the yellow and the green more. And like I said, of all of them, I think yellow makes the most sense. And so that's why it's my number 3, Railroad Ink Shining Yellow Edition.
Oh, yeah. It's Railroad Ink's a fantastic game. I have red. I played red and blue. I have not played yellow yet. I'm looking forward to that one as well. It's just like you said, it's easy to learn, but it does have some really nice puzzly elements to it. And you know what? You can play it easily over Skype or Zoom.
Yes.
I live streamed it last week. I just live streamed it last week here on my Twitch channel, and I had people playing in the audience. So you just have your own copy, and or you could even use graphics.
I was just going to say the same thing. I mean, for people who are like, oh, that sounds like a money grab. You got to buy 5 games so you can play with whatever 5 times with 20 people. Here's the deal: you can actually go to my channel, which you're probably watching this on right now, and do a search for Rahdo Railroad Ink. I filmed a game where you can play along with us, because you can go to Board Game Geek and you can just download and print out these sheets. So they are readily available. It's nice to actually, have the dry erase markers and all of that, rather than having to print out pages and then print out more pages and all of that. Right. But I mean, this is definitely, if you want to try it before you buy it, find my run through. I think I played blue, if I recall correctly. Maybe I played red. And in the link of that show notes, you will find where you can go and print it out and just try playing a game. See if you can beat my score. And I think you will find that, wow, this is really sharp. This would make a great gift. Yeah. I might go out and pick up a copy now.
Totally. Yeah. And one thing, at that price point, $15, even $20, the components are excellent.
Yes.
Like those dry erase boards are nice. The markers are nice. Comes with erasers. Yeah. Great choice.
Yep. All right. Okay. What do you got for number 2?
So we're moving on to my number 2, and I'm getting it ready right here. Number 2 is, so this is where I just sort of go like, you know what? I want something for the gamers, my friends who are gamers. And this is a fantastic game. My number 2 is the Dungeons & Dragons Tyrants of the Underdark board game. This one came out about 5 years ago. This is the new edition that just came out this year. I believe it's WizKid. Is it WizKid? No, Gale Force 9. This is a new edition that includes the old expansions. And so there's a thing that happened with the expansions. The original game, they had an expansion about a year later. The expansion cards did not match up with the original game. So you had this real problem, like, you can tell the expansion cards, and you're trying to shuffle them, did not work. This includes it right off the bat, so you don't have to worry about that. Basically, friends, if you don't know, Tyrants of the Underdark, it is deck building meets Blood Rage. If you're in a Blood Rage or that type of game, area majority, area control with the deck building element, this is the game for you. I think it's so underrated. I love it. Love playing it. I don't have a copy because it was out of print for a while, but now that it's back in print, I'm looking at this copy right here.
Which, by the way,
you play cards
on Fun Again, it notes includes the Aberrations and Undead expansion in the asking price.
Yeah, so that includes the expansion already. That's what they had problems with in the previous printing. So like any other deck builder, like Clank or Trains, these are the deck builders that I like. where you have the deck building element as part of a bigger game, as other mechanisms. In this case, like in Trains, that was basically Dominion means Ticket
Okay.
to Ride. Clank, you've got that push your luck element and deck building. This is all about area control. It's not for the, this is something, it may not be for everyone because you're in your face trying to battle for the different spots on the board, but you're using deck building into it. I think it's so brilliant, and it's probably one of my favorite deck building games. Actually, it is one of my favorite deck building games. Tyrants of the Underdark.
I can totally see that. Let me ask you this: as a Care Bear, am I
Yeah.
going to enjoy this game?
Or do you
need? Here's the deal. I often find I enjoy area control when it's a game where, oh, this is my area now. I control it. You can't take it from me. Or more to the point, I can't take it from you because I don't want to kick you when you're down. I don't want to steal stuff from you. Nope, this game, it's claws out.
Yeah. Yeah, claws are out because there's actually things where you can have like little spies out. You can send spies out. So you'll have presence in a certain area, and then there's certain timing when you play cards like, oh, okay, now I'm kicking you out of here. I'm taking that spot. It's very in your face, and you got to play it with the right group. The group I play with normally with my more hobby gamer friends, we play games like this, and it's so good. It's just maybe it's because it's so in your face that it hasn't gotten the popularity I feel like it deserves, but it's a brilliant design. Deck building meets Blood Rage, folks. That's my number 2, Tyrants of the Underdark.
All right, it's interesting. Our lists have kind of walked on parallel paths. I started with my heavy stuff and got lighter and lighter and lighter. You started with your lighter stuff and got heavier and heavier and heavier. You got more focused, whereas I got more broad. But I think we both got to pretty much the same place in the end. Let me tell you my number 1, Ruel. And honestly, I don't understand why it was not on your number 1. We don't discuss ahead of time, folks, what our each 5 is gonna be. We both send a list of 10 to a friend who then adjudicates and sends us back. Well, okay, you don't want to have overlaps. There's this one and that one. And when this came back that I was going to pick it because you weren't going to pick it, I was shocked. Explain yourself, sir. Why don't you love my number 1, which is called Patchwork Christmas Edition? Come on, man. Come on.
It was on my top 10. It was one of those.
Okay.
It was an overlap. It was on there. Yes. Nice call. Very nice. Yeah.
50% off. $16. What better game is there going to be to rip apart the package and open on Christmas Day than this, and then immediately sit down and play? Many people consider Patchwork the greatest polyomino game out there. Many people consider it to be the greatest 2-player game out there. Many people consider it to be both. And many other people, myself included, maybe not the greatest, but one of. Patchwork has always been absolutely brilliant. They're so popular. There's like been a half a dozen now Patchwork spin-offs, and we've got Patchwork rethemes like this. Now this is straight up Patchwork. Patchwork Christmas Edition. The only change is instead of trying to make a quilt full of quilty type patterns, the quilt we're trying to build by laying all our polyomino pieces on the board while drafting to get better ones and incredibly tensioned, spending buttons to be able to get what we need at the right time. The graphics are colorful Christmas paper wrapping. It's gorgeous. I think it looks better than the original. And if all that weren't enough, it literally comes with a Tetris-shaped cookie cutter inside, so you can make Tetris cookies just in time for the holidays as well. They didn't need to do that. It's certainly not necessary, but Patchwork is brilliant. And this is, obviously, it's the holiday season, but I mean, this is a game you could give at any time. Sometimes you get, specifically Christmas-themed games, you're like, oh, I'd only play this around Christmas. Not so with Patchwork. I mean, maybe they should have called it Patchwork Winter Edition or Holiday Edition or something like that. But you would play this year-round. It's such a hugely popular game, great for couples. I guarantee you, if you bought this and opened it up, you'd be playing it within 10 minutes, and everyone would be saying, well, this is the best crypt I got this year. It can't be beat. And then you'll go make some Tetris-shaped cookies while you're at it too, just for fun. It was a no-brainer when I saw it was also on their Black Friday sales list at 47% off. My number 1 gift-giving game for this year would be Patchwork Christmas Edition.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the fact that they have that cookie cutter in there. That's such a nice little
bonus.
Totally unnecessary, but so cool. Yeah, great choice. Yeah, that was on my top 10, and it was an overlap. So, great call. That is Michelle and I love Patchwork. We only have the base game, but it is, in my opinion, one of the best 2-player games, one of the best polyomino games. It's right up there for me and Michelle too. We played it dozens of times over the years. A wonderful, wonderful
All
game.
right, cool. I done good. Actually, I am really happy with this
You've done
list.
good,
I mean,
sir.
I've been happy with all our lists. We're
I
kind of
am too.
simpatico, but this feels really good. These 10 games, you're covering everybody in your life. There is something for everyone here. And yeah, I think we're going to end it there, folks. Thanks for watching. Now, remember, the secret word, lest we forget, was Schwarzenegger. I was about to say it in my crappy German. Was Schwarzenegger. Did you hear us mention it at any point over the last, 40 minutes or so? If so, what game were we talking about when we said Schwarzenegger? If you can figure that out, then you can send an email to contest@rahdo.com with not Schwarzenegger. You can send that if you want. You can send pictures of Arnold and doing whatever you want to do. That's all fine and dandy. But in the subject of the email, mention the name of the game. And by the way, don't worry about getting the full name of the game. Or, I mean, if you're close, if you get, as long as I can recognize that you got it, you will be entered to win that $50 gift certificate from Fun Again Games. So I think that's it, Ruel. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. I just want to say thanks to you and thanks to all the viewers for this. I mean, we're still doing the show and it's a great run so far. But with Thanksgiving right around the corner, you take that moment to think of the things you are thankful for. This is one of things I am thankful for. Our show here and all the people who continue to support and watch.
That sounds really schmaltzy, but it's really true. I genuinely enjoy doing this with you every week. I mean, you are just a blast just to hang out with. You always, every week, surprise me with some really interesting entries. You certainly did this time. Oh my gosh. And yeah, this is like one of the highlights of my week. I really love doing it. I hope everybody out there enjoys watching. And so, thank you to the best co-host in the world. Thank you to the best audience in the world. And in closing, let me also say thank you to our sponsor, Fun Again Games, for supporting this show. Okay, folks, thanks very much for watching. Have a very nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. Okay. Was that too cheesy? I felt pretty cheesy doing that.
That was fantastic. That was great. That was great.
Okay, we are in, so folks. Friends, if you're still here, we are in the post show. It is post show time.
Right.
All right.
Let's see. Some people are asking about the $50 fun game. It doesn't work for the UK.
Yes, that is true. Somebody pointed out the last time we did it that apparently, because of Brexit, Fun Again cannot ship to England. There's some weird, funky thing going on. So if somebody wins in England. So I thought about bringing it up, but it's like, nah, it's just too complicated. If somebody in the UK wins this, then I will probably contact Board Game Guru, which I lived in the UK for almost a decade, and I love them. I don't think Paul's there anymore. I think he ended up selling it on. But Board Game Guru is like one of the premier online board game retailers. I bet you anything I could get you a $50 equivalent gift certificate from someplace within the UK. So that's kind of my thinking if it happens that somebody from the UK wins. Yeah. So I don't know. Do I need to mention that? I mean, it's just like, people don't need to know. You're going to get a gift certificate. You're going to be able to use it to buy some games.
Yeah.
Rest assured. So that's the plan.
Cool.
Phew.
Okay. Hey, since we're here in the after show, I want to ask a question of you, my friend. How was BGG Con?
Okay.
And folks, we're in the Q&A section while we talk about BGG Con real quick. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat and we will try to answer them. We've got about 15-20 minutes left.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, let me, first of all, switch modes. We are in Q&A. The first question from Mr. Ruel Gaviola. What did I think of BGG? Oh, we had a great time. Oh, we're really shocked. Nice. I don't know what the final attendance numbers were. But as I understand, it was much less than years prior. But for folks who don't know, ever since Jen and I have been back in the States, we every year go to Board Game Geek Con in Dallas in November, and we go to the Dice Tower West Convention in Las Vegas in February, I believe. I believe it's February.
Yeah.
March, I believe. Yeah. I was close. I was in the neighborhood. And I go as a special guest, which means I'm pretty much there to play games with people because I'm a value add. For some reason, people like me, I guess, and want to talk to me and play a game with me. And so what we do is Jen comes along and she sets up shop and sells her gamer glass. And so we've been doing this for the last few years. And basically what I do is I just sit at her gamer glass booth for the entire, whatever it is, 4 days with the table set up, playing games with anybody who walks by who wants to play. They bring games, I bring games, whatever. It's just 4 games of nonstop gaming. And when Jen has to go to the bathroom, I say, okay, we have to put this game on hold for a second, and or Jen always tries to time it, so just after I take my turn in like a really big heavy game, that's when she makes a run for it because she knows, it's going to be a few minutes before it comes back to my turn again.
Oh, nice.
So then I got to go and man the booth and stuff like that. So we've been doing this, and it works really well. I mention all this because Jen was really surprised. She hasn't run the final numbers yet because a lot of people pay with cash, and so she hasn't added it all up. But she thinks it might have been her best show yet since being back. Which we did not expect at all. We expect, if it's going to be, half attendance, she'll probably get half as much as normal. But she thinks she actually did better. Now, of course, the nice thing about BGG Con is it's in November, so it's perfect timing. She's selling lots of gaming stuff. There's lots of geeks who come along who want to buy something so they can bring back, look, I was thinking of you, honey, or whatever. But, it's also just, she makes really wonderful gaming glass gifts. So she had a fantastic time. Yeah. I had a great time, too. What did I play? I played 13 games. And the question that's always asked, I'm sure you get this whenever you go to a convention, well, what was the secret game? What was the game nobody's ever heard of? Yeah. What's that hidden gem?
Yeah, the one that flew under the radar.
Yeah, what's that under the radar game? I can tell you right now, Neko Harbor. Neko Harbor. It's one of the games we play. Do you know it?
No, but I saw you post the picture.
That game. I played it with 3 other guys and one of the guys' girlfriends who's there. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, I got her card because she's a very talented anime artist and she can do chibi stuff. So I'm going to be contacting her to maybe do some chibis of you and me, so that folks on Twitch can have some nice chibi emotes and whatnot of and some of Jen's glass art and stuff like that too. So I need to get in contact with her. But we were all blown away. The rules were terrible. Some of the worst rules I've read this year. Very, very difficult. Made it very hard to learn the game. But once we got it going, we all agreed this is really different. It's a really interesting engine builder that was very clever, had really great pace, really great presentation, a wonderful theme about trying to build up a transport industry that in the end is all about just trying to get people out to see penguins in Neko Harbor. When we were playing, Jen actually put a couple of her glass penguins, so they became the goal we were all trying to get to. Jen's penguins instead of just the penguins that are in the art. I'm very impressed by Neko Harbor. But I mean, I had a good time playing a bunch of games. Had a great time. Cool. And I think that's been giving folks enough time to ask some questions, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we got one that was highlighted from our friend James Brazil.
Can you highlight stuff
favorite
now?
meal from
By the
BGG.
way, do you have access to that, or do I need to pin stuff?
I don't know if you pin it or I don't know.
Remember, you got to log into Twitch as me. Oh, what is this?
Oh, I think
hold
I'm
on a second.
mod view.
Talk to the audience.
Yeah.
This is the dog groomer.
Okay. Oh, go. Yeah, take care of that. Friends, so let's see. James is asking about favorite meal from BGG because this is Twitch after all. We need to talk about food. Yeah, we'll ask Rahdo when he gets back off the call here. Let's see. Oh, question from Tragedy 65. You guys have the shelves set up for 1 game per shelf for the show only, or do you prefer the shelves that way all the time? I know Rahdo has his shelves all the time like that. I do too. I learned this from Rahdo. Number 1, I think it just looks cooler. But number 2, you actually increase your shelf space, right? So I'll take a look at this one here. Right behind me, Chai. I've got 4 games back here. That's normally what would be here, right? Whether I stack them horizontal or vertical. But by pushing them back and putting one in front, I now have 5 games per shelf, and that's like that everywhere. So in this case, in Power of Empathy, hey, I got Cascadia back here, and I got 4 more games back there. So it increases the how many games you can put on shelf by 20% or whatever it is. So yeah, we do it. We do it for the show and off the show as well.
Okay,
all
so
right.
you cannot.
So we're
pin
talking
stuff.
about the shelf.
We'll figure that out.
But I think it's because I'm on non-mod view.
Oh no, you remember I gave you all the keys to the kingdom. You got to log into, but you have to do it through Streamlabs OBS. Because in Streamlabs OBS, that's what puts the little ticky thing so you can tick people's questions.
Got it. Okay. So I just took care of. James was actually asking you your favorite meal from BGG because this is Twitch. After all. We always talk about.
That's
food.
a good point. Okay. What did we do? We do first thing we just had they had like a little stand set up and they had something called walking tacos, which I'd never heard of before. I guess it's a thing in Texas. Do you know what walking tacos are?
Yeah. I've heard about them. I have not. I've heard about them. Yes, it's a
Yeah, we
Texas
both
thing.
liked that quite a bit, and it was the cheapest meal we had by far. But for the rest of the time, we were doing like DoorDash and Uber Eats because at the end of the day, we were both so tired. We didn't feel like going out to restaurants
Yeah.
or and all that, so we would
Yeah.
just have stuff delivered. And we went through all of our new emails and phone numbers so that we could get the first time 25% off bonuses, sales
Smart.
off of them.
Yep.
So they would be somewhat reasonable because, man, I mean, where we live, we can't get food delivered. Nobody delivers out where we are. So that's just kind of fun to do.
Okay.
The best thing we had at the convention was probably Chewy's. Chewy's is a Tex-Mex restaurant that I used to eat at all the time when we lived in Austin, Texas. And when I saw, there's a Chewy's in Dallas and they're doing delivery, we went with that. It had some excellent tortilla soup. It was so good, but we got so much of it that we actually carried it with us on the plane so we could have it later. And
Nice.
and I had a chewy lupa, which is like their version of a chalupa, with queso sauce, and ranchero sauce, just covering it. Oh, it was so amazing. And I don't even remember what Jen had. It was good too, but yeah. Oh man, that was great. But actually, the best meal by far was waiting at Dallas Fort Worth. Our departure gate was E, but whenever we're in Dallas Fort Worth, it doesn't matter where we are, we're gonna get on the skyline to make it over to gate A because there is a Salt Lick barbecue. And from our years living in Austin, there's the best barbecue in the universe, as far as we're concerned, is Salt Lick.
Really?
And so they've got a little, what do you call it, a little satellite one, in the airport.
Yeah.
So you either got to go to Austin, or if you're Dallas Fort Worth and you have enough time to make it over to the A terminal, you can get. It is literally. It's a mustardy, horseradishy type barbecue sauce, which is normally not something I like, but theirs is so special. They're known for how unique it is. It tastes like nothing else in the world, and it's better than anything else in the world. When we lived in Europe, we would have friends. We would ship cases to friends who we knew were coming over to Essen so that they would mule it over to us so we could take it home. So we could, because, half of the recipes Jen does is based on Salt Lick barbecue sauce. So actually getting to have some raw, original, straight from the grill was fantastic. So that was our best. Cannot recommend highly enough. In the Dallas Fort Worth at Terminal A airport, the Salt Lick.
I'll have to remember that. That's always like the terminal that I stop off.
There you go. Yeah.
East. Tim says that my last time in Dallas Fort Worth, I ate at the Bond Shop and it blew my mind. So good. Oh, okay, cool. I did not know. Yeah, usually now I think about my layovers are usually really quick, like an hour or so. So I don't have much time to mess around in the airport. But I'll have to remember that. That's great. Let's see what else we got here. People making jokes about Chewie as far as like Chewie the Wookiee.
Yeah.
Well done.
Hey, you know what? Let's see. I think we did have some more stuff that people have bought, haven't they?
Yeah.
So we need. If they've actually spent some channel points, we need to hit those, don't we? Let's see.
Yeah, we had some trivia, right?
We have 2 Trivial Pursuits, 1 Ruel Ranks, and another argument. So we do not have enough time to do all of this. Folks, show up next week and we'll get the rest of this done in the pre-show. But what do you want to do? You want another argument? You want to do a Ruel Ranks? Or you want to try and hit some trivia?
I definitely want to hit some trivia because I need to hear this story about 666.
Well, okay, I'm going to mark, let's see, Zedarek request, or Goblin 981 requested. I'm going to mark that as complete. I need to now pull up the big wheel, if I can find it. Spin wheel, there it is. Boop. And then I need to come over here to a completely different page and log back into Streamlabs because it did remember. Good. Okay, so that means, where's the spin wheel? Oh, why don't you stay where you are? Okay, all right, go to widgets. And I remember it's down at the bottom, spin wheel. And then go to spin.
Okay,
and I can't actually see what's spinning. What's happening? Here it comes.
I can see it.
It is Rahdo. Okay.
Nice.
I might have built this up a little bit too much, quite frankly. Let me hide the wheel. It is the very definition of minor trivia. When I was at Nintendo for 3 or 4 years. When I was in college at the University of Washington, I was a gameplay counselor. This was before the internet existed. This was before GameFAQs.com existed. This was before YouTube existed. And if you got stuck in a game, what you had to do was call a toll-free number. I think later on it became not toll-free because it was a real loss leader for Nintendo. But you called originally a toll-free number and got a gameplay counselor, a professional a video game professional on the phone who would tell you
Wow.
where the key to Ganon was in the 7th level of Legend of Zelda, or how do I find the Maui ball, or whatever it might have been. Most of my references are old original NES titles, because that's when I was doing this. And it's no big deal. But because I worked in a call center, it was basically a customer service rep, but the best customer service job in the universe, because you're not helping people fix their computer or find out where their money got missed, and you're just dealing with people who are like, I'm so desperate, can you please help me? I can't beat this boss or whatever. And we're like, oh, well, I played that, here's what I did, and et cetera, et cetera. But it was a call center, so often people would call back and, oh, can I talk to Richard again? Or I don't really know that game, let me transfer you to somebody. So we pretty much memorized everybody's extensions. If everybody knew I was really good at Battletoads because I'd finished it or whatever. And the weirdest thing for everybody was my extension was 666. So the whole company, whenever, there were certain games I knew better than anybody else, and so they're like, oh, I gotta type you in 666. And there were some people on the floor who were not happy having to type that in all the time to transfer a call to me. And there was one guy who said, funny. Dude, let me trade. I so want your extension. Like, one, I don't know if we can. I think it's associated with my customer employee number, but whatever. So yes, that's my personal connection with 666. A little bit of Rahdo trivia.
That is great.
That was my, I guess you could call it my call sign, but it was really my extension when I worked at Nintendo, which is a bit of trivia in and of itself.
Yeah.
All right, 3 minutes. Right. Not enough time to rank. Let's just do one more. Or let's see. Any more questions come up? If not, we'll do one more trivia.
Well, actually, someone was asking where. Oh shoot, I just lost it. They were asking about. And now I just lost it. I should have
gone forever.
Yeah, gone. Let me scroll down. Maybe it's right here. What? Okay, Meeple Maven wants to know, what is a shout out that you can buy?
On the list. Basically, that's kind of the equivalent of, how people would write letters to their local DJ, their local radio station, and to the DJ saying, hey, could you wish a happy 78th birthday to my grandma this week? And could you say this? So, it's a shout out. So, if you pay for a shout out, you can get us to say stuff. And the interesting thing about Twitch is anybody can take any portion of our video and turn it into a little standalone video. So, if you're in a game group and you want us to, if you guys all have an in-joke where you always make fun of Bob and you want us to say, Bob, you never get first player, or whatever it might be, you tell us what you want. You buy that, the text comes up, and me or Ruel or whatever will say it, and then you can clip it and you can share it with whoever.
Yep.
That kind of a thing. Yep. That's what a shout out is. It's the equivalent kind of a cameo, except we're charging Rahdo points instead of real money. I guess I should put that in the description. It's basically like a cameo. Right, that's what cameos are, yeah? Where people pay celebrities to say hello to them in video form. That's what the shout outs are. All right.
Cool.
And in case you're wondering what that means, folks, if you came in late, the longer you watch, the more Rahdo points you get. You click that R down in the bottom right corner of the screen, you can spend those Rahdo points to make us do all kinds of stuff. But the rest of that stuff will have to wait until next week because, and Meeple Maven says maybe that should be more expensive. It's interesting, everything was more expensive, but for the first 3 works, nobody was buying anything except for Goblin 989, who was buying everything. Yeah, okay. And I see Goblin just tried to do one. We will exercise some editorial control, Goblin 981.
Yes.
Let's see. You know what? Okay, Goblin paid for it. Goblin's actually got stopped by an auto mod. It's not appearing because it looks kind of trolly, but you're doing it in good intention, so what the heck? We'll give you this one. I will allow it. So it should appear. Folks, this one's for Goblin. Hey, everybody. I'm a big stupid moron with an ugly face and a big butt, and my butt smells, and I like to kiss my own butt. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. Oh, he didn't even pay for that one. Oh, you got me. You got me. Still, I expect that one to be clipped very shortly.
Yeah. That's going to be all over the internet real soon. Clip it.
Goblin.
Gotcha.
To the moon, Goblin. All right.
To the moon. Okay.
I think that's it. We are Dunsville. So the last thing to do is raid, which, by the way, folks, if you hang out for the raid and we find somebody else to go and watch, you'll get even more points that you could then not spend by doing a long con like Goblin just did and tricking me in front of everybody. Oh, you Goblin. Let's see. It looks like Board Game Geek TV is on right now. I love Lincoln and Nikki and the gang. So I don't know what they're doing. I think what they're doing is they're doing a post chat about Board Game Econ, so maybe some really interesting information showing up. Thank you, James. Thank you very much. James says, I am loved. I love you all, except for maybe Goblin. That Goblin. He's a sneaky one. All right, so let me see if I can set up a raid for them. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, don't forget, tomorrow
yes.
we're back here. We're playing a game, folks.
Yep, and you can play with us. The first RVR episode, unlocked by you, by having enough followers, is going to be at noon, West Coast or Pacific Standard Time. Me and Ruel, you got to decide now. Are you Team Rahdo? Are you Team Ruel? Because 2 gamers enter, 1 game leaves. It's not R&R, it's RVR. And Ruel knows the game a lot better than I do. I played it once while we were at the convention, and that's it. So I'm in trouble, everybody. Wish me luck. And in the meantime, let's raid. 50 viewers heading over to Board Game Geek. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. And if not, we'll see you next week. Bye. And then I push the button, and then a bunch of stuff happens.
We should be raiding.
And then I guess, I don't really know if it works, because I'm still very scared about it. And I bring up Chrome really quick, and I try to go over to I should have done this before, so I could have seen it actually happening live. Twitch.tv/BoardGameGeekTV. And people are shouting, raid! And Lincoln! And Nikki! And the thing is, we're still recording. If anybody jumps on now, they're seeing us talk about the raid. Oh, it looks like it's working. Okay. I see people are following. So, and it makes them dance. See, I am never... Yeah, I'll say I've got a stinky butt and I smell my own butt, but I'm never going to dance on this show. At least not because people make me dance. You cannot spend points on that. But okay, just in case somebody's still here, folks, we are out. And I'll talk to you in the post show. All right, where's the button? Here it is. Here we go.
Hit the button.